cannot easily be understood. There's been a pattern, essentially, of documenting this that has made a lot of folks at senior levels of government and multiple administrations very uncomfortable. Going back to the Roswell incident, which I do believe there was sufficient evidence that something happened there. There's a book called The Day After Roswell, Colonel Philip Corso, an Army colonel, claimed to have been involved in that. It's out there. People can go check it out. So I think to Professor Loeb's point, there's ample evidence that we need to continue to expand our both study and disclosure. I think the government continues to have information.
Colonel, I have a follow-up for you. Sir.
Go ahead.
I know you probably still maintain a certain clearance level with the United States government. Do you know things on this subject that you're not allowed to say on television? Let me ask you that question.
Yeah, of course. There's things that we are aware of that cannot be necessarily explained, that the U.S. government chooses to basically keep until they can explain it. They want to be able to provide a full disclosure. So I understand why things are not necessarily revealed. With that said, I'm one who believes we should continue forward to disclose everything we know within the context of what the government knows. Marco Rubio just said, TW, that there's things that are in the sky that we can't necessarily understand. So this is not the first time or last time this is going to be discussed. With that said, I think the Department of Defense wants to be very careful before they disclose everything they have.
Well, Professor, I want you to talk a little bit about this 3-hour Atlas comet. We know the closest this comet is predicted to come to Earth is in December, on December 19th specifically. I mean, why is there so much fanfare about this comet? Why is it different? Why is there so much hoopla about it? And tell us what you expect to see as it gets closer.
Well, first, I wanted to mention that whatever came from outside the solar system that is not from this Earth should not be kept under wraps by the U.S. government. It should be shared with scientists like myself, especially, if there are materials, information from 50 years ago. It's completely irrelevant as to what the Russians were doing 50 years ago. Today, the technology is very different. So there must be historic evidence that could be shared right now, but is not shared. Now, with respect to 3-hour Atlas, that's a development from July this year. A new interstellar object, an object from outside the solar system, was discovered in the sky by astronomers. And that kind of data cannot be hidden because hundreds of observatories around the globe looked at it. And it seems to have some anomalies, unusual behavior. For example, a Hubble telescope image that was just released a couple of days ago shows an extension towards the sun, an elongation towards the sun, in difference from what is familiar from comets, where you see a tail. This is an anti-tail. Also, the object is very massive. It lies in the plane of the planets around the sun. And that, to me, suggests that we should look at it and get as much information as possible, because it could be a black swan event where astronomers, scientists say, oh, it's a very small probability that it's not natural. Nevertheless, the implications for humanity are huge. Sure. And we know from intelligence agencies that we must attend to possible black swan events.
Colonel, 20 seconds max to you. What do you know about it?
Well, I don't know anything about it. I'm not an astronomer like the professor. I think he's got the correct understanding of this. With that said, we need to continue to wish for and push for disclosure of everything, and to include giving scientists like Dr. Loeb all the information they need to assess and correctly identify what's going on. I think he's doing a great job.
Yeah.
Well, Colonel, I just want to warn you. Sorry, I just want to warn you, Colonel. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm so much to uncover, and clearly the government is trying to hide a lot from us, as we heard from Tony Shaffer. So I'm always fascinated as to what's going on with this.
I think the growing concern about the government.
Focus Today, focusing on issues affecting you. Join Perry Atkinson weekdays only on theDove TV. You're tuned to theDove, encouraging and informative. Helping Oregon, Northern California, Idaho, and Nevada start the day with news and encouragement. This is Mornings on theDove.
And good morning to you. Happy Monday. Welcome to Mornings on the Dove. This is the happening place because when Jerry shows up, we just kind of all hold on and see how it's going to turn out.
It just happens.
It happens.
That's right.
Anyway, good morning to you. Happy Monday. I hope your weekend was a good one. A little bit of a sprinkle yesterday, you know, not much. I guess we could see some more this next weekend.
Maybe a little bit, yeah.
Not enough to ski.
No. We're still recovering.
I was hoping that you could be skiing for Christmas.
You mentioned, for me at least, second weekend.
Yeah.
We're just not quite sure when that second weekend will be.
I know.
So anyway,
we'll have to
wait.
look at it.
Yep.
Anyway, good morning to you. Happy Monday. By the way, before we get tied up, yesterday was a big day in history. December 7th, 1941, Pearl Harbor, where the Japanese Air Force attacked the United States Naval Station there in Pearl Harbor in Hawaii, killing 2,403 people. In addition to 1,178 were wounded. The other casualties were 200 naval vessels, including 8 battleships, 300 aircraft were destroyed or badly damaged during that attack that lasted a little over an hour and a half. And that was yesterday. Of course, yesterday would have been, the remembrance of that, 1941.
84 years ago.
So it's hard to believe that if you ever go to Hawaii, you have to go to Pearl Harbor.
Absolutely.
You have to go there, and you have to take the little boat out to USS Arizona. But it was an amazing thing, and that was the turning of the tide. And
that got us into it full force.
Full force, yeah.
And as much of a shock as it was, there was a portion of a blessing inside of it because they had sent the carrier force out to sea before the attack happened, and as a result, heavy damage in battleships, but not on aircraft carriers.
Right.
And aircraft carriers were the deciding factor in the Pacific War.
There you go. Even the bombers that launched off the aircraft carrier with the kamikaze raid to Japan,
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yes.
Remember that?
Well, I wouldn't call it that a kamikaze.
Well, reverse.
Because kamikazes, they didn't come back.
Well, these guys took off.
Some of them did.
Yeah. They knew they didn't probably have enough fuel to make it back.
Yeah, that was. Well, they knew they weren't going to make it back, and they were hoping that they would get to other spots like in China and stuff. In Allied Air Force bases, and most of that didn't work.
No, but anyway, hats off to veterans. I think that there's like only a handful of Pearl Harbor veterans left.
Yeah, and in fact, we were in Hawaii last year, and we went and saw the memorial, and it is amazing. And you are warned before you go out there. This isn't a tourist attraction. This is a gravesite.
Yeah.
And so act respectfully. And I was surprised when I went out there that we know that there are a number of those who are interned in the wreck itself who never made it out, and a number of veterans who survived the attack on the Arizona. As they have passed away, many of them have had their remains taken, and divers take their remains into the Arizona itself so they can be interred with their comrades. It's amazing.
It is. So hats off to our veterans everywhere, and especially those who may still be alive from Pearl Harbor.
Yeah.
All right, good morning to you. A lot going on in the news. We have some interesting stories for you. What else is going on?
Well, first of all, I don't know if you're one of these, but it is National Crossword Solvers Day. Celebrating national with nearly 50 million people who enjoy solving crossword puzzles. And it's good for your vocabulary.
Yeah.
It fills your time, keeps your mind sharp. All the benefits of doing a crossword puzzle.
And you get to make up words.
And you
and meanings.
And that too. Well, we're making up words in our culture anyway, aren't we?
Yeah, just make up a word and give it a meaning and say you won.
I haven't even looked to see what they're adding to the dictionaries this year, as we get so many cultural and slang terms and stuff that kind of end up in the dictionary.
Right.
And so I don't know what it is, but have fun solving your crossword puzzles.
There you go.
It's also pretend to be a time traveler your day. I think we've seen some interesting movies about time travel. H.G. Wells, what was the name of that one? It made it into a movie. Oh golly, everybody's saying it right now, and I just can't think of it. But and then of course we think of Michael J. Fox in in his little DeLorean.
DeLorean.
The DeLorean time travel. And I think a lot of people throughout their life, at one portion, have thought, if I was a time traveler and I was going to go back in time, knowing what I know now,
where would you go?
How would I like, and I think a lot of it is, how would I make my life better? What do I know about the stock market that's going to happen that I could, what are the things you could manipulate?
So how far back would you want to go?
That's a great question. That, I don't know. I haven't even considered that, to tell you.
Would you go back to, the Wild Wild West?
That would be a little dangerous back then, but
Want to go back to biblical times?
Yeah, well, and see Jesus?
Okay. Do you want to go back to the Roaring '20s?
You know what? As confusing as the time in which we live is right now, I'm pretty content right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's okay, and right now I can have a brownie because it's National Brownie Day.
Okay.
It's the earliest recipes for brownies were published in regional cookbooks around the turn of the last century. And brownies have classic ingredients. Traditional brownies are made with just 5 ingredients: butter, sugar, chocolate, eggs, and flour. And fudgy versus cakey. The texture of brownies can vary significantly. Fudgy brownies have a higher fat to flour ratio, making them denser, while cakey brownies contain more flavor and baking powder, resulting in a lighter texture. And of course, blondies, a popular variation of brownies, blondies are made without cocoa powder and often feature brown sugar and vanilla instead. And of course, we all want brownie points. The term brownie points refers to a social currency earned by doing good deeds. Often in a workplace or personal context. I try to get all the brownie points I can at home. And the world's largest brownie is over 3,000 pounds. And brownies are definitely a comfort food. So
really? Yeah. Well, I think
some. Get comfortable.
I gotta have a brownie just a tad crunchy.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. With a big scoop of vanilla bean ice cream.
I'm in. I am in all the way. This is one of those it's hard to deny. The only thing they haven't done properly with a brownie is put it into a blizzard.
Yeah.
They need brownie blizzards.
Brownie blizzards. Well, make your own. There
How about that? Okay. And that's all I got for you. Enjoy them.
All right, here's a guy that if he could be in a capsule and time travel, he'd go back to Haight-Ashbury.
A look at our weather from Grange Co-op. With an atmospheric river surging across the top of our region, rain with a flood watch and gusty winds for Vancouver, Portland, Wilsonville, and McMinnville, with daytime highs in the mid to upper 50s. Continuing with rain, a flood watch, and gusty winds for Salem, Albany, Corvallis, and Eugene, with daytime highs in the mid-50s and a southwest wind 11 to 17 miles per hour, gusting up to 30 miles per hour. In Central Oregon, a chance of rain in upper 50s in Prineville, rain likely in Bend with a high near 53, and Sun River in the upper 40s. Over in Boise, Idaho, patchy fog, then mostly cloudy with a slight chance of rain in near 53. Along the Oregon coast, rain with a high near 60 in Coos Bay, rainy, breezy in upper 50s in Port Orford, rain likely in Brookings in mid-50s. In Crescent City, California, a chance of drizzle, mostly cloudy and near 58. In southern Oregon, patchy dense fog with a slight chance of rain in the Rogue Valley, then partly sunny and highs near 58 for Grants Pass, Medford, and Ashland. Patchy fog, then mostly sunny and 52 in Klamath Falls. Into northern California, patchy fog, then mostly sunny in low 50s in Wairika, mostly sunny in mid-60s in Redding, partly sunny in near 57 in Chico, and decreasing clouds in mid-50s in Sacramento. In the Bay Area, patchy dense fog, then sunny in low 60s in Santa Rosa and upper 50s in Napa. Sunny in San Francisco with a high near 60 and a light north wind. And patchy fog, then sunny and 64 in San Jose. It's a snapshot of your Monday weather from Grange Co-op.
All right, a little bit of shot at the top of the hill this morning. Have no idea what that is other than it's light at the top of Mount Ashland and some stuff blowing by it.
Yeah, I think we're up by the big golf ball.
Yeah.
Looking down on the
Yeah.
bottom right is the lift hut.
So we'll give it some more light and see if there's anything white up there.
Look at the glow of the Rogue Valley over there.
Yeah.
Ridge over to the right.
There you go. See, look at it. It's got some weather up there, but you know, it's so mild, I can't help but think that's rain.
It is really mild, isn't it?
Yeah, it really
My
is.
goodness.
Pretty mild out there.
All right. Well, let me ask you this. You know, we know that people have said, okay, Lord, here I am. Choose me.
Mm-hmm.
Choose me. And
Use
then
me,
they
yeah.
keep choosing, and then they get tired, and they get a little exhausted, they get a little burned out, and then they get to the point and say, here I am, Lord, choose him.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah, take him, Lord.
well, Pastor Greg Laurie says we should serve the Lord and we should do it with joy. God wants you to be happy. But don't burn out. Don't flame out. Here is Pastor Greg Laurie.
You know, I love to make friends with other leaders that enjoy what they do. So we're serious about our mission. We're serious about what God has called us to do. But we have fun when we can have fun. And I think there's a lot of joy in serving the Lord, a lot of fulfillment. And we need to remember that God wants us to be happy people. We're told in Scripture many times that this is what He desires, that we would experience happiness. John 15:11, Jesus says, I told you this to make you completely happy as I am. So do it with gladness, do it with joy, do it with happiness. Don't complain about how hard it is to serve God. You know, I hear from time to time about fellow ministers who burned out. I'm not in ministry anymore, I burned out. Really? I've never felt burned out. I felt tired. A nap usually fixes that. But I find myself revived as I see God working, and revived as I study His Word, and revitalized as I give out what God has given to me. I don't understand burning out in ministry. I'd rather flame out, man. I just go as long as I can go. And then when God's ready to call me home, then that's it. But
Flame out.
Flame out. Yep.
Okay, good stuff all the way around. Well, I think, you know, you got to remember one thing about retirement.
And that is?
It's a Western idea.
Oh, yeah, you know.
It's not a biblical idea.
I don't doubt that, yeah.
It's not.
Okay.
It's just not. And so, anyway, but, you know, I hope to those who do.
Yeah.
Who figured it out. All right, good morning to you. Happy Monday. Let's take a look at some of the top stories this morning. And there's some interesting things that have twisted and turned over the weekend. One of them is apparently, you know, President Trump's been working hard trying to end the war there in Ukraine. And I guess Zelensky hasn't even read the latest proposal.
I heard something. What's up with that?
Can you imagine?
No, I can't. I can't even fathom this.
So what preempted him? Was he out having a beer somewhere? I mean, what's the deal?
Yeah, I have no idea. If
Anyway.
somebody told him there's not something, or there's something that he won't like in there, so to avoid it, I have no idea.
I mean, here you are in, you know, the biggest thing on earth, and you have, well, anyway, the president expressed his frustration and disappointment. He was on the red carpet during the Kennedy honors deal, which is another story. But anyway, here's what he had to say about being disappointed with Zelensky not reading the deal.
So we've been speaking to President Putin, and we've been speaking to Ukrainian leaders, including Zelensky, President Zelensky. And I have to say that I'm a little bit disappointed that President Zelensky hasn't yet read the proposal. That was as of a few hours ago. His people love it, but he hasn't. Russia's fine with it. Russia's, you know, Russia, I guess, would rather have the whole country when you think of it. But Russia is, I believe, fine with it, but I'm not sure that Zelensky's fine with it. His people love it, but he hasn't read it.
Did Zelensky admit that to the president on the phone? How does he?
He must have.
Yeah. And why wouldn't a leader like Zelensky, who's in this conflict for years now, why would he not read that proposal? And what do you take of a leader who doesn't even take time to lead it? Does he really want peace?
Well, the answer to the first part of your question is just an opinion. He knows that once an agreement is made, his leadership is done. They'll hold an election and he's out.
Okay.
So he's probably wanting to delay that.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. The second part of it is, I don't know, other than if he thinks there's land involved, he may just flat reject it.
Yeah.
So therein lies the struggle.
And I think there is going to be land involved.
Yeah, where there
right.
wasn't, then there is, and then
Right.
there isn't, then there's not. And I don't know. It's kind of crazy. But anyway, we'll have to wait and see. But it was just, you know, you have to admit, what? You're going to get on the phone with the President of the United States and tell him you haven't read the deal yet?
Yeah. Wow.
Whoa.
That's kind of nervy in itself.
That's really, it's pretty disrespectful.
Yeah.
All right, 15 past the other story, which is so interesting, in our own backyard. Now, you know, states, even our own state governor, has threatened to arrest ICE agents, okay? The new mayor-elect in New York is now going to put out warnings where ICE agents are going.
Right.
He's not even mayor yet, and he's doing this stuff.
Right.
Well, there's a flip side to it. All right, so the blue wants to tell people that the ICE is coming to get you. Well, there's a little guy in Idaho. He owns a bar. He owns a saloon. The Idaho saloon owner has now promised free beer to citizens willing to help U.S. immigrations and custom agents to identify and deport illegal aliens now facing death threats.
No kidding.
So he's giving free beer to those who will give leads to ICE.
And I just read that. It said it's free beer for a month.
Yeah.
For a month.
So if you know where one of them, these illegals is kind of camped out, come in here. So this is the reverse of the blue.
All right.
Now listen to this part.
What?
See if you can wrap your head around this.
All right.
Okay?
All right.
The bar owner, Mark Fitzpatrick, he's the name of his bar is called the Old Stage Saloon. We really aren't strangers to speaking out boldly about conservative Christian values and truth, putting the truth out there. Now, let me get this straight, okay? We got a Christian bar owner giving away free beer.
Oh, wow.
What do you do with this?
You can't make this up.
Only in Idaho.
Yeah, only in Idaho.
Only in Idaho.
All right.
Well, anyway, we'll see what happens. But the poor guy's getting death threats.
Really?
The problem with Idaho, it's not a problem, it's a reality, is that so many people are moving there that even some of the liberals are moving there, trying to take the local conservatives and drive them crazy.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, man.
Gosh.
Oh, that is.
All right, so the other story over the weekend was the Kennedy Center honorees. This is a big deal. You know, the Kennedy Center was going broke. Beautiful. Have you ever been by that building?
I have not.
It's gorgeous inside.
All
I've been in it. It's just unbelievable. Anyway, it's had some great performances and great honorees in the past. It's been one of those programs you just want to watch. Anyway, it was going broke. It was a paid board position.
Oh,
and people were making a lot of money. So I don't understand how the president would have the authority of this unless it was a government program, and apparently it was. So he steps in and fires everybody, okay, and reestablishes the place and puts it back on its footing. And the President Trump now has described the 2025 Kennedy Center honorees as some, quote, of the greatest of all time, and offering them congratulations as he revealed that he would be hosting the performance Sunday night. Okay, last night. I'm not sure if it's going to re-air between Christmas. Now, Christmas, I was told it was going to maybe re-air again on the 23rd. We'll see. I'll get some deals on that. But anyway, here's the president making a little bit of a statement on all this.
These are among the greatest artists, actors, and performers of their generation, the greatest that we've seen. We can hardly imagine the country music phenomena without its king of country, or the American disco without its first lady, or Broadway without its phantom. And that was a phantom, let me tell you. Or rock and roll without its hottest band in the world, and that's what they are. Or Hollywood without one of its greatest visionaries. Each of you has made an indelible mark on American life, and together you have defined entire genres and set new standards for the performing arts. You have set new standards. On behalf of every American who has been inspired by the unbelievable talent of Michael Crawford, who has been influenced by the music of George Strait or Gloria Gaynor or Kiss, or who has been moved by Sylvester Stallone's unmatched heart and talent and grit, because nobody played that role, and nobody will ever play that role like Sly. We want to thank you all. We want to thank you all. Really tremendous. Thank you.
Well, there you go. We'll see, but the ratings are expected to be pretty high on this.
I want to see it now, and especially after sitting there watching. Well, George Strait was up there. That was really cool. Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley from Kiss.
Yeah.
And Gene Simmons in typical form, sitting there in a tuxedo with his cool shades on.
Yeah.
Oh man,
you know,
it's too good.
I wonder if Ozzy Osbourne would have been there.
Oh, you know what? I got to tell you the truth.
You kind of think about it. Would he have been there?
I read an interesting article this morning about Ozzy Osbourne and someone who shared a Bible with him.
Yeah, I saw that same article.
It's amazing, and somebody gave it to him in modern language because he had complained. He says, "I've tried to read it before, but I can't understand it."
Yeah.
Well, nobody could understand you either, Ozzy. Yeah. But he was given and I guess he was into it.
Yeah.
So this is an interesting story. But I wonder if Ozzy would have been there.
Well, anyway, quite the deal. Sylvester Stallone. What's cool about that is I got to run up those steps in Philadelphia, you know.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Everybody, you ought to see girls trying to do it in high heels. Not a pretty sight. Not a pretty sight. Okay. All right. So anyway, those are some of the top stories here this morning as we kind of launch our new week. Happy Monday to you. We'll take a brownie break. We'll be right back.
TPUSA Faith is coming to Southern Oregon and partnering with Game Changers. That's right. It's time for Southern Oregon to stand for families. Join us for a powerful and special Game Changers event with TPUSA Faith on Tuesday, December 9th at 6:30 p.m. at Edgewater Christian Fellowship. Join us for an inspiring message from pastor and author John Amanchukwu. Again, this special night is open to men, women, children, and families. Everyone is invited to be encouraged, equipped, and challenged to stand strong in biblical truth. Bring the whole crew. Admission is just $10 per person for anyone over the age of 10. Game Changers is partnering with TPUSA Faith and bringing in author John Amanchukwu Tuesday, December 9th at 6:30 p.m. at Edgewater. Get your tickets now and be a part of a night that will change lives. Register online at GameChangersNorthwest.org.
Applegate River Golf and RV Resort, a pristine 9-hole course alongside the Applegate River. Their clubhouse offers a golf simulator experience. The RV Resort is adjacent to the golf course with convenient pull-through parking. Applegate River Golf and RV Resort. Information at applegaterv.com.
Okay, welcome back. Happy Monday to you. A couple of little side stories here. Roger Clemens and Barry Bonds missed out on the latest chance to go into the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Again.
Yeah. Jeff Kent went in. He's the 2000 MVP. Received 12 out of the 16 votes. So apparently he got voted in. Meanwhile, Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, and Gary Sheffield All players linked to using performance-enhancing drugs got out.
Yep, they're not going in.
All right, so in the
meantime,
meantime,
never go in.
Well, it's interesting because the president weighs in on this.
What did he say?
Okay, well, I don't know why he sticks his nose in some of this stuff.
Yes.
Holy didn't make it. He said Roger Clemens won 354 games, went through his own witch hunt. He was acquitted of all charges, and if he doesn't get into the Hall of Fame, he should sue the blank out of the Major League Baseball, said Trump earlier today. It was the Obama DOJ, of course, that viciously went after the great Roger Clemens.
Roger Clemens denied all steroid use. He was exonerated, and he actually risked going to jail because they said he lied to Congress. Now, only certain people we know get prosecuted for lying to Congress.
Yeah.
If you're like in the DOJ or something like that, it depends on. But but there is, they say, a lot of evidence that Roger Clemens did use PEDs. But nothing official. So sports writers are kind of holding on to that. As far as Barry Bonds is concerned, there's no denying it. He was loaded up with performance-enhancing drugs from Balco. Balco was the company in San Francisco that also was instrumental with Marion Jones, the international sprinter from the United States. She was fabulous. She actually went to jail for perjury, lying about it.
Yeah.
But did you know that Balco, the company that Barry Bonds, Marion Jones, and a number of others got their PEDs from, was run by a guy who they called Dr. Victor, and he wasn't a doctor. He was a self-taught nutritionalist who was the ex-bass player for the funk band Tower of Power. I'm not kidding you. He was a bass player for Tower of Power.
No, this is an evening special somewhere.
Yes, I'm not kidding you.
Gee whiz.
Oh, my goodness. And so I don't know how guys like Barry Bonds, because Barry Bonds was one of the most gifted ball players of that generation. And unfortunately, there was a lot of attention being given to Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, and what's his name? Mark McGuire's part of the Bash Brothers. And he couldn't take it. He wanted the attention. And you know what? It's a good reflection. Of the human condition. You know, this guy was on top of the world. He was one of the best ball players in the world. But he knew a couple other guys who were using performance-enhancing drugs that were hitting more home runs than him and getting more attention. And he thought, I need the attention too.
Oh boy,
he did it. So it's quite a mirror of human behavior.
Well, you got to have 75% of the vote of the committee to get in, and so the only one that met it this time was Jeff Kent, and the other two big names are not in it.
Question. Here's the bottom line question. Should a person who was knowingly took performance-enhancing drugs, should they be allowed into the Hall of Fame?
Well, fundamentally, no. Okay, so then it goes back to, what's his name, who did the gambling? Pete Rose.
Pete Rose, right. Who now is eligible because he's not alive anymore. They made a new rule, said if you die, then all of those things that held you out, if you had a lifetime ban from the Hall of Fame or from baseball, when you die, your lifetime ban is gone because you have no more life. Yeah.
So you can't. You can't capitalize off of it.
Right. So they still but they still have to vote him in.
Yeah. 75%.
Right. And there are a lot of sports writers who have it in their head that if this is the situation, whether it's gambling or whether it's PEDs, they're not going to vote for you.
Okay. One other quick question. Do you think the Hall of Fame committee is politicized?
Is anything not politicized these days?
Okay, the only reason I asked that, so if any of these guys coming up happen to be friends of Trump.
Oh, I didn't think of that.
Do they get thrown out?
That's a really good question.
So if everything's politicized, what's the flavor of this committee?
Yeah. Yes. Right. Isn't it nice?
Everybody needs brownies with ice cream on them.
You know what? I got to tell you the truth, though. Yeah, everybody needs brownies. I think the Hall of Fame is one of the few places in our country that is safe and secure from being invaded by DEI.
Okay,
it all boils down to performance.
Well, there you go.
Boom.
All right, here's a nice story. This is part of the president doing a little bit of cutback on operations and things, and that is the BLM, the Bureau of Land Management, announced a series of holiday affordability measures that started immediately when it helps families save money, enjoy the public lands, and support wildfire prevention efforts in Oregon and Washington for the 2025 season. Here's the deal. Effectively, immediately through January 31st, BLM is reducing many of the personal permit day uses to $1, including getting a Christmas tree.
All right.
So you can go get a Christmas tree for $1.
There you go.
How about that?
Yeah, and with the lack of snow up there right now, you can easily go up there and get something.
Yeah, I don't know what the parameters are in cutting down a tree, but...
Yeah, right. I don't know if there's size restrictions.
Yeah. But apparently, I can go get it. Alice wanted me to go get all of you a Christmas tree and give it to you for $1.
I got it.
Thanks, Alice. I'm not doing anything between midnight and 4. I'll just run right out and get that for you.
We have noticed volumes and volume. Christmas trees are coming down the hill like crazy.
Yeah.
In the back of pickup trucks, on top of cars.
Yeah.
It is amazing right now.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
$1.
$1, yeah.
$1.
Wow.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
All right, we'll take a $1 brownie break. We'll
Wait
be
a minute.
Back.
Oh, yes. Wait a minute. Let's do weather.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Gosh, why do I keep doing that?
That's all right.
It's Monday. I'm sorry. Here's Jerry's weather forecast.
No, this is a satellite image.
Oh, this is Jerry's satellite image.
And I will give a little forecast. We're looking at mid-50s today and cloudy skies, but we're going to see sunshine by Wednesday and Thursday, continuing in the mid-50s, and we don't see any hints of precipitation until maybe next Monday.
Okay.
So it's like, I don't know, what are we, La Nina or El Nino this year? What are we?
You guys got to be skiing for Christmas.
Yeah, it ain't going to happen, I don't think, but all that moisture going over the top of us. Well, on Fox Business this morning's with Maria, former FBI Special Agent Nicole Parker talks about James Comey's former lawyer suing the DOJ, asking the feds to block the use of any seized material from Comey's hard drive.
These individuals involved in this Comey debacle, I'm sorry, but they were absolute narcissists, and they think that they are above the law. And you know what? They have been above the law, Maria. Who have you seen be held accountable up until this point? Nobody. And again, I'm not saying that, this is not political retribution. And people are like, oh, the Trump administration is now just going after their enemies and political opponents. No, actually, that's what the Biden administration did. That is not what the Trump administration is doing. What they are doing is that they are trying to restore justice and do equal enforcement of the law. And as an FBI agent who worked under James Comey, he single-handedly destroyed the agency that I loved working for. And I do believe that he needs accountability. I believe those internally at the FBI that are good, solid FBI 1 agents that I talk about in my book, the 2 FBIs, they want accountability, but I think Americans, we want transparency. We want to know that if you do things that are wrong, you will be held accountable. Well, and that's not what we've seen over the last 4 years, especially under the Biden.
Wow.
Okay, so over the weekend, a judge issued a injunction that current evidence that has been brought to the table concerning Comey can't be used. Now, will you please explain to me in the legal process where a judge can step into a case that that's not in front of him, and stop the evidence from being used in a case?
We got these rogue judges again, don't we?
So isn't that in itself an admission?
Seems to be, yes.
So what are they trying to hide here?
They're trying to protect James Comey, and I don't know why.
He could be the guy that is the slipperiest of the bunch that gets through.
You're right.
Because you're dealing with statutes and limitations. The only thing you could do, from what I understand, I don't have all the details, is that you can expose it anyway.
Okay. All right.
So he's found guilty in public opinion.
Right.
Okay, but not in the court of law. But I don't understand law where a judge can reach into the case of somebody else and stop the evidence from being used in the case. How in the world can a judge do that?
Not a clue. I have no idea.
It's one of the great mysteries.
Yes, it
All right.
is.
Well, that's why we need to have a brownie a la mode day. We'll be right back.
2025 has been a remarkable year of growth for the Dove, and there's still work ahead. We have more exciting plans to bring the gospel to even more people. And once again, you, our faithful viewers and listeners, can help make this happen. Our goal is to raise $223,000. With this, we can renew our tower leases so you can continue to see and listen to the Dove. Then, and this is very exciting, we can construct a full-power TV station, opening the door for the Dove to reach thousands of new viewers via broadcast, cable, and satellite. Would you prayerfully consider sending a special gift to the Dove to help with these major projects? Thank you for helping the Dove change lives and your faithful partnership. The Dove, encouraging and informative.
And don't do what I did. Go to Father and Son Jewelry.
At Father & Son Jewelry, you'll save 50% off all Black Hills gold. Diamond earrings starting at $49.99. Silver, 50% off. All in-stock gold hoops and pearls, 50% off. 1/3 off all our engagement sets. Prices so low, even Scrooge would approve.
God bless us, one and all.
Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays.
Hey, it's your old car here. Remember me? Remember us? You barely even turn me on anymore. It's clear you don't need me, but that's perfectly fine, my friend, because you can choose to give this old car new purpose and donate. There are incredible nonprofits out there that accept cars just like me. So call or donate online. Donating a vehicle is easy, the pickup is free, and your gift is tax deductible.
Good morning, 24 before the hour on a beautiful back at it Monday morning, and here we are, countdown to Christmas. Here we are, December 8th. Can you believe that?
No, no.
Yeah, by the way, we had 3,842 kids in here Saturday night. They were in the ceilings on the walls.
Climbing over Santa Claus.
They were hanging from the light grid. They were climbing all over the cameras. No, I'm just kidding. But
did you get a real count?
No, we didn't.
Okay.
We had the Sparrow families here, and what a special time, and what a special event. And the Santa Claus from, maybe I'll get some of the pictures out. The Santa Claus that comes from Jacksonville came over and sat down for 3 hours. That poor guy sat there talking to these children, you know. I kept feeding him coffee and cookies, you know. I said, the least I can do is give you a sugar high to keep up with these kids. Poor guy. Anyway, good stuff. All right, good morning to you. Let's check in with CBN News Watch and get caught up.
This is CBN News Watch.
We begin in Israel, where the first ever Ambassador Summit commissioned more than 1,000 pastors to stand with Israel and combat anti-Semitism. The gathering aims to make what's heard in America's pulpit stronger than today's propaganda. CBN Middle East Bureau Chief Chris Mitchell brings us the story from Jerusalem.
U.S. Ambassador Mike Huckabee explained the heart of the commissioning.
You're not an ambassador for the state of Israel. Nobody's asking you to take on a political role. In fact, I don't recommend it. You've got enough trouble being a pastor. You sure don't need to get into this business. No, I would say you're an ambassador for Christ, His kingdom, and His word.
Reverend Johnny Moore said this gathering marks a defining moment.
So this is an army of pastors, 1,000 pastors, the largest group of pastors at one time that has ever come to Israel specifically for one purpose, to stand in solidarity with the Jewish state and the people of Israel.
He put it in historical perspective.
I believe every generation has a test. One generation had to face the test of the trains going to Auschwitz. Another generation of the Jews in the Soviet Union crying for help. Our generation is facing a resurgence of anti-Semitism in our schools, on our streets, in the mouth of our politicians, ubiquitous in media. There isn't a Jewish community in the United States of America that hasn't faced it. This is our moment. The question is whether we will rise to the occasion, and I can tell you from leaving this room a few minutes ago, we're going to rise to the occasion. We will not let this evil win this time.
Israeli leaders encouraged the pastors to be bold and express gratitude for their support.
Stand up and be counted. Tell the truth. Speak to young people. Speak up and be counted. I'm counting on you and I know you'll do what has to be done. That's what our destiny calls for.
This is not just Israel's fight. This is a fight for civilization. We are facing very much a civilizational struggle like we saw in the 30s between Nazism and the free world. Today, that Nazism is Islamism in coordination with communism, which today's expression is called woke, but it's the same thing.
Behind the scenes, Shira Mills of the Friends of Zion Museum helped make the summit possible.
Never been done before. This is something very unique, very difficult, but here we are. From my point of view, it's miraculous.
The vision going forward, recruiting 10,000 more pastors in the next 36 months.
Because there's a lot of misinformation out there, a lot of young people that are not for Israel, and they're just getting the wrong information. So our whole idea here is to reach the youth of America and around the world and just show the truth.
One of the most moving moments came from Daniel Leshinsky, whose son Yaron was murdered, along with his fiancée Sarah Milgram, in Washington, D.C. earlier this year.
Well, my message is to pay attention that anti-Semitism is a problem for all of us, not only for the Jewish people, not only for the Israelis, but also for the pastors in the U.S., for the church. Anti-Semitism, we know that it's a demon, it's a power, it's a spiritual power that is going first against the Jewish people and then against all the people of God.
One of the last events of the Ambassador Summit was here on the Mount of Olives, where more than 1,000 pastors came to overlook the city and pray for the peace of Jerusalem.
With 1,000 pastors gathered at such a critical moment for the nation of Israel, when anti-Semitism is rising in our nation and globally, this has been such a pivotal turning point. I believe we can turn the tide of anti-Semitism.
1,000, right? 1,000 pastors and leaders that didn't even know each other. And he called and we heard the word of the Lord. And this is a season to see anti-Semitism defeated and to see God's glory come to his chosen people.
Chris Mitchell is with us now from Jerusalem. Chris, does the leadership of the Ambassador Summit view this event as a success?
Yeah, hey, Gary, very much so. Many didn't think it could even happen. There's a war going on in Gaza when many of the people were making their decisions to come here. A lot of people thought 1,000 pastors in December, which is for many the busiest time of the year for many of the churches, and yet they did. They came. One impact that this gathering has had is that many of the pastors that support Israel maybe since they were alone, and now when they see other like-minded pastors, there's a sense of they're not alone and a sense of reassurance. They got to hear from people on the ground. Yesterday, there were many panels with people that were, Israeli experts, military experts. And especially they had the opportunity, Gary, to go down south to the kibbutzim down there, attacked by Hamas on October 7th. They got to hear from several of the hostages that have been released and many of the families of the fallen in Gaza. So all in all, a very impactful trip. But many people didn't think it happened, but it did.
Yeah, it's amazing. Good stuff. Great support. They needed to see that physically in their homeland like that, in their capital. Good stuff all the way around. All right, good morning to you. Let's check out the weather for this Monday morning.
A look at our weather from Grange Co-op. With an atmospheric river surging across the top of our region, rain with a flood watch and gusty winds for Vancouver, Portland, Wilsonville, and McMinnville, with daytime highs in the mid to upper 50s. Continuing with rain, a flood watch and gusty winds for Salem, Albany, Corvallis, and Eugene, with daytime highs in the mid-50s and a southwest wind 11 to 17 miles per hour, gusting up to 30 miles per hour. In Central Oregon, a chance of rain in upper 50s in Prineville, rain likely in Bend with a high near 53, and Sun River in the upper 40s. Over in Boise, Idaho, patchy fog, then mostly cloudy with a slight chance of rain in near 53. Along the Oregon coast, rain with a high near 60 in Coos Bay, rainy, breezy in upper 50s in Port Orford, rain likely in Brookings in mid-50s. In Crescent City, California, a chance of drizzle, mostly cloudy and near 58. In southern Oregon, patchy dense fog with a slight chance of rain in the Rogue Valley, then partly sunny and highs near 58 for Grants Pass, Medford, and Ashland. Patchy fog, then mostly sunny and 52 in Klamath Falls. Into Northern California, patchy fog, then mostly sunny in low 50s in Wairika, mostly sunny in mid-60s in Redding, partly sunny and near 57 in Chico, and decreasing clouds in mid-50s in Sacramento. In the Bay Area, patchy dense fog, then sunny in low 60s in Santa Rosa and upper 50s in Napa. Sunny in San Francisco with a high near 60 and a light north wind. And patchy fog, then sunny and 64 in San Jose. It's a snapshot of your Monday weather from Grange Co-op.
Well, a little bit more up there, light, but I can't tell what it is.
It's the top of the mountain, but it looks bare, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah, oh well.
We'll get a little bit more light. It's kind of, you can see the glow of the valley.
Yep.
And a few other things up there. Mount Ashland we're talking about this morning.
And we're hopeful.
More hopeful.
Yeah, we're very hopeful, optimistic. Okay, well, today marks a groundbreaking moment in television history when the TV show I Love Lucy dared to go where no show had dared to go before. On December 8th, 1952, the episode titled Lucy is Enceinte aired, featuring Lucille Ball's real-life pregnancy written directly into the storyline. In the episode, Lucy tries in the most Lucy way possible to find the perfect moment to tell Ricky he's going to be a father. At the time, TV networks considered pregnancy too sensitive to mention on the air. The show wasn't even allowed to use the word pregnant. Instead, they used the gentler term expecting. Yet, despite the restrictions, the episode was a cultural milestone, warmly portraying the excitement, nerves, and tenderness of starting a family, all while breaking one of television's biggest taboos. A moment of comedy, courage, and history, all unfolding on this day in 1952. How about that? Too sensitive to put on network TV.
Gosh.
Pregnancy.
When we had values. Couldn't use the word pregnant?
No. And remember, Ricky and Lucy slept in twin beds.
Well, most of the people did on those shows.
Yeah, they did. Well, they had to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Okay, well, moving on.
Yeah.
Jacksonville, Florida. Now, this is a cute story.
Okay.
What would you do if you were a police officer and you get a call from the local Chick-fil-A?
Okay.
That there's a 5-year-old having breakfast in there by himself.
Oh, no, really?
Yeah. So, here's the police story.
We arrived on scene. Hello. And as we walked in, we see a little kid sitting at the table eating his breakfast with one of the managers. Hey, buddy.
Oh, look at that.
We asked where he came from, and he kept saying he walked to Chick-fil-A.
You know where your house is, right, honey? It's right across the street, right over there. Okay, cool.
I have children, and, the first thing, you get that knot in your stomach because, somebody else who's a parent is missing their child. Are you going to show us where you live?
Yeah.
Okay. We gathered him up. Look at that. Say thank you.
There's a cow for you.
I walked him to the back of my patrol car.
Are you going to get me in jail?
No, I'm not going to put you in jail. And we started checking the area. All right, buddy, where's your house at? We were wondering where did this child come from. Is it right here? None of these doors are open. None of these garages are open.
I don't live in a duck pond.
So then he explained that he had a white fence.
That's where it is.
Right here?
Yeah.
And that's when we pulled up in the driveway. And then we realized that the call box wasn't working. We had no way to get through the gate. How about this? My initial thoughts were, I can't believe he came out of here. It's the most secure house on that block in reference to having a fence all the way around, front, back, sides. Please.
I'm Phil.
I'm Victoria.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Hey, do you have a son named William?
William.
Yeah, a little boy?
Yeah. Our 5-year-old William had an adventure a few weeks ago, and we live nearby very close.
Yeah, he was down at the Chick-fil-A.
Are you kidding me?
No, we have him in our police car. You want to come get him? You could just see the look on his face. It would be for any parent, including myself. It's disbelief.
It's kind of scary, actually, because we didn't realize what was going on until after we came out.
Do you have any idea how he got out?
Yeah, he just unlocked the front door,
but he's never done that.
I was worried about him because was he scared? Was he crying? Was he upset?
Come on, little man.
He was quiet, which is unusual for him.
Did you get scared?
Why did you go to Chick-fil-A?
You're welcome.
I think it did shake him up some, so I don't think we really needed to, impress too much that you shouldn't do it again, things like that. I think he understood that it was serious, but we did talk about it.
He said he opened the gate and couldn't find Joe and went down the street.
I know he knows how to get to Chick-fil-A because we walked there. I would have never expected him to come down here on his own in the morning before anybody else in the house was up.
What in the world do you do with that?
What do you? Wow, at least.
What would be the disciplinary action?
No more Chick-fil-A for you this month.
Is that it?
I don't know. At least he went to a good place.
Well, but the walk between his house and Chick-fil-A.
Oh, man.
Alone in the morning like that?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Well, we'll just take a little chick break. We'll be right back.
It's been an exciting year filled with many improvements at the Dove. There's still more work ahead. Would you prayerfully consider a special year-end gift to renew tower leases and a broadcast expansion to reach new viewers? Thank you from the Dove.
You feel most alive where you feel most at home. And this is living. Bobcat, the company that changed the way the world works, is coming home with a quality compact tractor built to match your quality of life. This isn't work you have to do. It's work you get to do. So get it done in a tractor that's all you. See your dealer or visit bobcat.com.
The Lennox iComfort S30 thermostat can sense changes in your environment. It even knows when you come and go. So now your home's most important system is also the smartest.
Metal Masters can give you the smartest home comfort system available. It knows when you're away and adjusts when allergens and humidity get uncomfortable. Trust Metal Masters to provide perfect air for your family.
Lennox. Air is life. Make it perfect.
Finding that next great series to binge watch is fun, but your neck, shoulders, and body don't count that as me time. Hi, I'm Tamara Miller, owner of Organic Element Spa, and I invite you to put down the remote, get off the couch, and schedule yourself some real me or we time with your favorite service, like one of our many massages, couples massages, or facials. Your health, safety, and comfort are always top priority with us at Organic Element Spa. We can't wait to see you. Book your appointment today.
At Rogue Hearing in Phoenix, we help you hear life again, clearly and comfortably. From expert hearing tests to custom aids and more, the team at Rogue Hearing delivers care you can trust. Rogue Hearing in Phoenix at the shops at Exit 24. Personalized hearing care right here at home.
Welcome back. 8 minutes before the top of the hour. Well, here's a question. Do you know, this is a big question for a lot of believers. Do you know your identity in Christ? And what does that mean? Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, leave it to Pastor Mark Little to tackle this, and here's what he had to say.
I went on a men's retreat here just on the suburbs 2 hours away from Dallas. And I did something that I had never been asked to do before. It's a men's retreat. And I didn't know what to expect. I just knew that I needed to get away. And we all sort of, whether you're called to fast or whatever it is, if you're listening to the Spirit, if you're walking in the Spirit, He'll tell you what you need. And out of that retreat, or during that retreat, I was called, Perry, into solitude. Jesus always got away. And this made me get away. I've never done this. I had to put my phone on off. From Thursday night to Saturday morning, I've never done it. And I was forced to face certain issues like sonship. What does it mean to be a son of God the Father? And when you shut down and you take a text and you lift it up and you say, Lord, now, what are you saying to me? And there's no kids calling on you. There's no phone ringing. There's no husband or wife pulling at you. All you're doing is letting the Lord speak to you. When you say, Lord, meet me in this moment, I need to hear from you. Beloved, he does it. And I don't journal, but I had a journal because of this retreat. And as I lay myself before the Lord and asked him to meet me, he just began to pour down responses to my questions. And I have a journal full from that weekend of what he's saying to me in this season. So as a practical matter, I would encourage your listeners to find solitude.
Powerful. Powerful.
Absolutely.
Powerful.
He's really good. Well, I grew up in a farm community and some years on the farm in North Dakota, and that is a tight-knit group of neighbors. They're more than neighbors. They're actually like family. Mm-hmm. And earlier this month, that bond was on full display near a small town named Antler.
After local farmer Randy Filesvold was killed in a crash in September, friends feared his final harvest would never be finished, so they stepped in. Led by Wyatt Thompson and Andy Gates, farmers from more than 10 communities rallied together, 75 volunteers, 12 combines, 7 grain carts, and over 40 trucks, all to bring in Randy's remaining crop. In just days, they harvested 1,400 acres of corn along with soybeans and canola, a massive operation coordinated with local grain elevators to handle the nonstop flow. Randy's widow, Kara, called the scene breathtaking, saying the outpouring of support brought her and her sons peace in a heartbreaking moment. In a message to the community, she wrote, "I will always remember this. Randy would be so proud." A powerful reminder that in this community, when one farmer falls, neighbors and friends rise up to finish the work together.
Isn't that wonderful?
Isn't that great? Love it. Love it.
I got a comment on that. It's too long. I'll keep it later.
Okay.
All right, 1 Corinthians 15:58. Therefore, my beloved brothers and sisters, be steadfast, immovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, knowing that in the Lord your labor is not in vain. Do something for him today, and then he'll take it and multiply it and use it in ways you have no idea. There's a picture that we're still trying to decide. Is that snow or is that shadow?
I don't know.
Poor old Jerry, his legs quivering over here.
I'm so confused.
Your legs quivering.
I just prayed. I said, God, I have to be done. That feeling of hope, it was coming back right then. It started right then. And I have no idea how not to crave these drugs. I don't know how to stop, but I feel like this is my last chance. Please help me. If you show up, I'm surrendering.
Tuesday on the 700 Club, right here on the Dove TV.
At Sweet Tea Express, we've got you covered. Order at the counter and our friendly service staff will do the rest. Burgers, salads, sandwiches, barbecue platters, sides, and more. Smoked, grilled, and served to perfection. Sweet Tea Express, breakfast, burgers, and barbecue.
Clean water is essential to your good health. Ultra Pure Purified Water has been delivering purified, healthy drinking water to the Rogue Valley since 1995. Locally owned and family run, Ultra Pure Purified Water uses a multi-stage process ensuring your delivery of water is 99.8% pure, so your family stays hydrated and healthy. Online at ultrapurewaterinc.com or call 541-734-0828. 541-734-0828.
TPUSA Faith is coming to Southern Oregon and partnering with Game Changers. That's right. It's time for Southern Oregon to stand for families. Join us for a powerful and special Game Changers event with TPUSA Faith on Tuesday, December 9th at 6:30 p.m. at Edgewater Christian Fellowship. Join us for an inspiring message from pastor and author John Amanchukwu. Again, this special night is open to men, women, children, and families. Everyone is invited to be encouraged, equipped, and challenged to stand strong in biblical truth. Bring the whole crew. Admission is just $10 per person for anyone over the age of 10. Game Changers is partnering with TPUSA Faith and bringing in author John Amanchukwu Tuesday, December 9th at 6:30 p.m. at Edgewater. Get your tickets now and be a part of a night that will change lives. Register online at GameChangersNorthwest.org.
Prayerfully consider a special year-end gift to help the Dove continue to reach viewers and listeners for Christ. Thank you for partnering with the Dove. You're tuned to the Dove, encouraging and informative. Helping Oregon, Northern California, Idaho, and Nevada start the day with news and encouragement. This is Mornings on the Dove.
And good morning to you. Happy Monday. I hope your weekend was a good one. Welcome to Mornings on the Dove, where Jerry Bilden shows up and the rest of us hold on. Anyway, good morning. To you. Yeah. Happy Monday to you. A lot in the news, there always is. Weather-wise, well, kind of a mixed bag out there. Mm-hmm. You know, don't see any big, heavy moisture until later on.
Right. But you know, I could actually see the air this morning in the headlights of my car as it was parked in the driveway. It's so thick. There's so much moisture in the air, but it's not rain.
It's not rain.
Right.
You know, just keeps everything going.
Yep.
All right, good morning to you. Just a little bit of reminder, because today is December 8th, but yesterday was December 7th, 1941. 84 years ago, Pearl Harbor was bombed. It was only an hour and a half when the Allied forces were bombed there by Japan. And let's see, killing 2,403 Americans. An additional 1,178 were wounded, all within about an hour and a half. It started right around just a little bit before 8 o'clock in the morning. Over 200 naval vessels, including 8 battleships and 300 aircraft, were destroyed or badly damaged. And the attack lasted just a little over an hour and a half. That was the turning point of the war, to say the least. And if you've ever been to Pearl Harbor, which I highly recommend that you take the time to go, if you're in Hawaii, and do the tour. And as you said, when you get on that little boat to go out to the USS Arizona, you're not going to a recreation spot.
That's right.
You're going to a gravesite. So anyway, pretty interesting stuff. We're to the point now where there's only a handful of veterans left, and from that era.
From that era, that's right.
So that would put them up around 100 years old.
Yeah, and in fact, there are no more survivors of the Arizona attack who are still alive, and a number of them who did survive, and then as they passed in later years, had their remains interred with their comrades in the Arizona. Divers took them in and put them in the wrecked ship. So it's a very, very memorable place, and very somber when you go visit.
Yeah, it is. And then the turning point, like you said, the battleships were in the harbor, but the aircraft carriers were outside, and that ended up being the factor.
That was the factor, because World War II, at least the Pacific War, was a carrier war.
It was.
So, yeah, wow. Well, we remember.
We remember.
Yes.
Thank you, thank you. All right, good morning to you. Otherwise, a lot going on in the news, interesting twists and turns of various events. We'll have those for you in a few moments. What do you got today?
Well, here's a twist and a turn for you.
Okay.
It is National Crossword Solvers Day.
Oh.
Did you know that nearly 50 million people enjoy solving crossword puzzles every day?
Do you play it?
No, I don't have time to sit and figure. I'm trying to figure out words for scripts that I'm writing and stuff.
Well, you know,
that's it.
It's the only, if you really want to get in a good fight.
Okay, yes.
Play crossword.
Okay.
Or Scrabble.
Or Scrabble, which is a crossword game, yeah.
And argue over whether it's a word and what the meaning is.
Yes. And that's hard in this day and age.
Well, you can ask Siri, I guess.
Well, I guess so. But also, I mean, we're adding words to the dictionary every year. Who makes up these words?
I don't know. Lawfare.
There you go.
Is that going to show up this year?
Of course
or next
it will.
year?
You know it will.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
And whose picture are they going to have next to it when they define lawfare?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you know, don't you?
Well, it'd probably be his.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. The big T.
The big T. Okay, it's also Pretend to be a Time Traveler Day, and I think we've all kind of entertained thoughts of what would I do if I was a time... What would I do if I got into Michael Fox's DeLorean?
Back to the Future?
Back to the Future, yeah.
I don't know.
I have no clue. You know,
How far back do you want to go?
I don't.
If you could go back for a day, what era would you like to go to?
You know, boy, I'm a history nut, so you know I would like to go back and I would like to see the maneuvers of Alexander the Great.
Oh,
I would like.
Whoa.
Yes, I would like to go, and I'd like to be interjected into some of the issues that were going on during World War II. I would love to sit down and watch Benny Goodman perform.
Oh, wow.
You know, let's see, what else?
I really thought you'd like to go and sit at the poker game during Tombstone.
Oh, interesting.
You'd just be standing over the top of those guys with the gun under the table.
Oh, you see, the possibilities are endless.
I'm only talking a day here now.
No wonder they write movies and stuff about this subject.
Yeah, there you go. Okay.
Oh, man. Okay. It's also after you're done traveling, or maybe during your travels, have a brownie. It's National Brownie Day. The earliest recipes for brownies were found in cookbooks and newspapers around the turn of the last century, around 1900. And, of course, they have classic ingredients made with just 5 ingredients: butter, sugar, chocolate, eggs, and flour. Now, fudgy versus cakey. The texture of brownies can vary significantly. Fudgy brownies have a higher fat to flour ratio, making them denser, while cakey brownies contain more flour and baking powder, resulting in a lighter texture. And of course, blondies, a popular variation of brownies, are made without cocoa powder and often feature brown sugar and vanilla instead. And of course, something I'm always trying to get at home, brownie points. The term brownie points refers to a social currency earned by doing good deeds, often in a workplace or personal context, of course, at home. And the world's largest brownie was 3,000 pounds. And 3,000.
That's ice cream to fix that one.
That's a whole lot of comfort, because brownies are comfort food, and nothing could be more comfortable than a brownie with a scoop of vanilla ice cream.
Yeah.
Vanilla bean.
Vanilla bean over the top of a brownie.
There you go. It's what we got to eat.
Ooh, that's good. Okay, well, if he could go onto a time capsule and go back, he'd go back to Hayton Ashbury, right on the corner.
A look at our weather from Grange Co-op. With an atmospheric river surging across the top of our region, rain with a flood watch and gusty winds for Vancouver, Portland, Wilsonville, and McMinnville, with daytime highs in the mid to upper 50s. Continuing with rain, a flood watch and gusty winds for Salem, Albany, Corvallis, and Eugene, with daytime highs in the mid-50s and a southwest wind 11 to 17 miles per hour, gusting up to 30 miles per hour. In Central Oregon, a chance of rain in upper 50s in Prineville, rain likely in Bend with a high near 53, and Sun River in the upper 40s. Over in Boise, Idaho, patchy fog, then mostly cloudy with a slight chance of rain in near 53. Along the Oregon coast, rain with a high near 60 in Coos Bay, rainy, breezy in upper 50s in Port Orford, rain likely in Brookings in mid-50s. In Crescent City, California, a chance of drizzle, mostly cloudy and near 58. In southern Oregon, patchy dense fog with a slight chance of rain in the Rogue Valley, then partly sunny and highs near 58 for Grants Pass, Medford, and Ashland. Patchy fog, then mostly sunny and 52 in Klamath Falls. Into northern California, patchy fog, then mostly sunny in low 50s in Wairika, mostly sunny in mid-60s in Redding, partly sunny in near 57 in Chico, and decreasing clouds in mid-50s in Sacramento. In the Bay Area, patchy dense fog, then sunny in low 60s in Santa Rosa and upper 50s in Napa. Sunny in San Francisco with a high near 60 and a light north wind. And patchy fog, then sunny and 64 in San Jose. It's a snapshot of your Monday weather from Grange Co-op.
Hey, there's a picture of our valley. A little bit of a haze out there this morning. That could be almost anything from wood stoves to moisture.
True.
And a layer of clouds over the top of that. And then you still see some mountaintops.
Yep.
So, beautiful shot this morning.
Gorgeous
west.
place in which we live.
All right.
All right. Well, you know, when you do something and you've done somebody wrong and they offer forgiveness to you, it is a wonderful feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, on the other side of it, when we have had a wrong done to us and sometimes struggle to forgive the person that did it. Well, Pastor Greg Laurie gives one of the most important reasons to forgive that person that you're having a hard time with.
Forgiveness is seen as a sign of weakness. Our culture values vengeance and payback. Many operate by the old adage, don't get mad, get even. But forgiveness doesn't mean condoning bad behavior or dismissing it. It doesn't even suggest necessarily reconciliation. It just means you forgive. You say, well, no, shouldn't we be reconciled to people? Yes, if possible. But the Bible says, as much as it's possible, live at peace with all men. Some people, you can't live at peace with them, but you can forgive them. And they don't deserve your forgiveness, but you should forgive them for your own peace of mind. Forgiving someone means you're surrendering the right to get even, not giving them what they deserve. And that's another reason that David was a man after God's own heart, is he was a forgiver. He had multiple opportunities to kill King Saul, and he would not raise his hand against him, even though Saul was attempting to kill him. And even more, he extended grace to the grandson of Saul, the son of Saul's son, Jonathan, and that boy's name was Mephibosheth. And Jonathan was a bright light in this dark place because Jonathan and David became close friends. And even though Jonathan was really the heir to the throne, he understood that God had called David to that role, not him. And so David forgave. And I think that's so important.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Well, good stuff. Do you find it hard to forgive? Okay, let's move on here.
I thought that was rhetorical.
Well, we'll let it be that.
You know, I think where it really boils down, Perry, I think a lot of us are willing to forgive when we're asked. I think we struggle with forgiveness when the person who has done us wrong doesn't come to us and ask for it. But we know God wants us to forgive anyway. But I think that's a real stumbling point for a lot of people.
Well, let me just interject one thing here.
Okay.
It's very important, and it probably should take a half hour to explain it. But if you have unforgiveness in your heart, you shouldn't take communion.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just let that sit.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Right.
All right, let's move on. Good morning to you. Happy Monday. A lot going on in the news. Let's take a look at what's happening. One of the most interesting stories popped up over the weekend. Apparently, President Zelensky of Ukraine has not read the latest proposal. You kind of scratch your head. What?
Yeah.
So President Trump was asked about this. He was at the red carpet over the weekend, yesterday at the Kennedy Center. That's another story. But the point being, he's a little frustrated with the president, President Zelensky, not reading the latest proposal. And here's what he had to say.
So we've been speaking to President Putin, and we've been speaking to Ukrainian leaders, including Zelensky, President Zelensky. And I have to say that I'm a little bit disappointed that President Zelensky hasn't yet read the proposal. That was as of a few hours ago. His people love it, but he hasn't. Russia's fine with it. Russia, I guess, would rather have the whole country when you think of it. But Russia is, I believe, fine with it, but I'm not sure that Zelensky's fine with it. His people love it, but he hasn't read it.
I don't know where this leaves anything.
I don't know what this means.
This is really disappointing. And the only thing I can think of, it kind of leads to the idea that Zelensky does not want the war to end. for a couple of reasons. It has become a money machine for him, and there's already speculation about the mishandling of the aid coming to his country. But moreover, if the war ends, then immediately part of the agreements have always been that he would be up for re-election, and he knows he's going to lose.
That could be, yes.
All right, so...
You know what this reminds me of? You know what this reminds me of? Pelosi. When she said, we need to pass the bill to find out what's in it.
She got away with that stupid statement.
She did.
I know.
Yes.
Okay. The other story is, as you know, there is a lot of people, well, Oregon being one of them, our governor has said that if an ICE agent tries to attempt to arrest somebody here, that we're thinking about sending our police out to arrest them. The new incoming mayor in New York over the weekend, Mondani, said that he's thinking about having ICE alert sites. In other words, warning people where ICE is going, which in itself could be problematic. Well, then here's the flip of that.
Okay.
There's the Idaho saloon owner who says free beer to anybody that helps ICE find the bad people.
Oh, man.
Now, you kind of have to laugh at this. It's serious. But anyway, he said he's going to promise free beer to citizens willing to help ICE identify and deport illegal aliens. The problem with that now, this poor guy is facing death threats. The bar owner, Mark Fitzpatrick, he's the owner at the Old Stage Saloon. He said, we aren't strangers to speaking out boldly about conservative Christian values and truth and putting the truth out there. So, free beer for the next month. If you come in and you lead to somebody, lead ICE to somebody that's illegally there. Now, here's the thing. You got to...
Look at, there's a cross and a moose on the wall.
What makes this story so funny is that, and I want to be respectful here, but you have a Christian saloon owner giving away free beer with a cross above the bar to anybody that helps ICE. What a story. In Idaho.
In Idaho.
In Idaho. Now, you would kind of expect that in Idaho. It's kind of a mixed bag up there. But
I love Idaho. I do.
Anyway, that's the true story. That's what's going on. All right, here's another one. As I mentioned earlier, the president has revived the Kennedy Center. If you've never been there in Washington, D.C., it's a beautiful building. Of course, great events. But apparently they had some problems in the past, and they had paid board members, and it was going bankrupt because they couldn't even afford the payroll of the board members that didn't do anything. It was all woke. The whole 9 yards. The whole thing was going downhill. So the president steps in. What's he do? He fires everybody. That's his M.O. And he puts the whole thing back together. And then over the weekend, he pays tribute to the honorees of the next big gala, which was last night. And here's the president talking about it.
These are among the greatest artists, actors, and performers of their generation. The greatest that we've seen. We can hardly imagine the country music phenomena without its king of country, or the American disco without its first lady, or Broadway without its phantom. And that was a phantom, let me tell you. Or rock and roll without its hottest band in the world, and that's what they are. Or Hollywood without one of its greatest visionaries. Each of you has made an indelible mark on American life, and together you have defined entire genres and set new standards for the performing arts. You have set new standards. On behalf of every American who has been inspired by the unbelievable talent of Michael Crawford, who has been influenced by the music of George Strait or Gloria Gaynor or Kiss, or who has been moved by Sylvester Stallone's unmatched heart and talent and grit, because nobody played that role, and nobody will ever play that role like Sly. We want to thank you all. We want to thank you all. Really,
amazing.
Well,
amazing.
Revived it, and they're saying, of course he's saying, right, it'll get great ratings, we'll see. when the show airs.
Yeah.
But that was last night. So Sylvester Stallone, obviously.
Yeah.
You know, but Kiss.
Yeah, we had both Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley there. Of course, George Strait. I mean,
oh yeah,
all my exes live in Texas.
Yeah.
Like George Strait.
By the way, there was a moment. It was a short moment when he took his hat off when they were putting the medallion over.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't see that.
Otherwise, I don't think you've ever seen him without his hat off.
I've never seen George Strait without his cowboy hat on.
They took his hat off, they put the medal on him, and he put it right back on.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. Okay.
So a question I wonder, would Ozzy Osbourne have won this?
Oh, you know, that's a great question. I don't know if he would have had Ozzy in there or not, but
all the categories being what they are, you know.
Yeah,
so rock and roll.
Well, you know, and you wonder where Ozzy's heart was at the end as well, because I just read a great article about a guy he shares Bibles with celebrities. This young guy,
and he started at the age of 13.
Right, and he's done it with countless
presidents and
everybody
and sports people.
Absolutely amazing. And he said Ozzy was very receptive. Ozzy said that he didn't read the Bible because he couldn't understand it, so he gave him a plain English version of it. And Ozzy was he was into it. He was reading it. So I don't know. You know, you can only hope and pray that Ozzy's heart came to the Lord before his final day.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
All right, good morning to you. We'll take a quick, well, let's see, a little rock and roll break with some brownies and vanilla bean ice cream.
Yes.
Our cheeks are nice and rosy and comfy cozy are we. We snuggle up together like two birds of a feather would be. Let's take that road before us and sing a
At Kelly's Automotive Service,
being good stewards of what God has entrusted to us
is at the core of our business.
We believe what we do matters.
Every interaction, every transaction is another opportunity
to bring Christ's values into the marketplace.
If you're a technician who wants to be part of something bigger,
or just looking for a new shop to bring your vehicle,
we would love to meet you.
We're Kelly's Automotive Service,
where we service your vehicle,
but take care of you.
Combining your home and auto insurance could save you time and money. And who doesn't like that? When you want surprisingly great rates on auto, home, and life, call State Farm agent Rory Wold in Medford today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Okay, welcome back. Happy Monday to you. 22 minutes past the hour. Some interesting news. Looks like Roger Clemens and Barry Bonds missed out on the latest Baseball Hall of Fame. You needed 75% of the votes to get in, and the only one that made it, 12 out of the 16 votes, was Jeff Kent. And, of course, he was 2000 MVP. But as far as Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens and Gary Sheffield,
yep,
they all missed out, and all with rumors of left open.
And you know what? It's more than rumors, Perry. I know with Roger Clements, at this point in time, it's still kind of considered rumors because they had a congressional hearing. He went in front of Congress and he denied everything. And then they tried to prosecute him for lying to Congress. Yeah, isn't that interesting? Who gets prosecuted?
That was Obama's DOJ.
Yeah, and he fought it and he won. So they've never proven that Roger Clements was a steroid user. There's a lot of suspicion. Now, when it comes to Barry Bonds, they know that he did.
Okay.
And in fact, you know, the company Balco in San Francisco is where he got his drugs, and it was run by a guy who they called Dr. Victor. And it turned out Dr. Victor wasn't a doctor at all. He was a self-taught nutritionalist by the name of Victor Conti, who just years before he opened up this shop where Barry Bonds and Marion Jones, the Olympic runner, all these people were coming to get their steroids, Victor Conti was the bass player for the funk band Tower of Power. I'm not kidding you.
Somebody got to make this into a movie.
Yes. I've seen the documentary and I was stunned. I was glued to it. This guy was a really great bass player, and he taught himself nutrition. And then, you know what he was a specialist at? Hiding the fact that you were taking steroids. They do these masking drugs. And so it takes away the evidence of steroids in your system. And he was so good at it that nobody could catch him. And the FBI got involved and they started going into the records. They went and, you know, they brought in search warrants and everything. And they finally uncovered the whole thing. And in fact, he was so good at it that a lot of the steroid detection devices that they use now are not necessarily to find the steroids in your system. They are used to find the masking drugs in your system. So,
well, the president stuck his nose in this.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, he went on, you know, T-Social and said, sue him. He said to Roger Clemens, sue the Hall of Fame. Well, why would you do that? I mean, well, I don't know. You'd have to have probable cause and proof.
What would you expect Donald Trump to say?
I don't know. I think his epitap's going to be Donald J. Sue him Trump.
Right. And then, you know, his next advice, okay, Roger, sue him for $1 billion.
$1 billion?
Yes.
I don't know. Anyway, so that's one of those stories. The other story is, 'tis the season. As you know, the president's made a lot of cutbacks in government operations. Well, one of them is the BLM, and he's announced a series of holiday affordability measures that starts immediately. And it will help families save money, enjoy public lands, and support the wildfire prevention efforts across Oregon and Washington. So effective immediately through January 31st, the BLM is reducing many of its personal day use fees to $1, including Christmas tree permits. So if you haven't gotten your tree yet, go to the BLM, get a permit for $1, and go out and get a tree.
There you go.
Do it while there's there's no snow on the ground.
There's no snow. You can get up there and get it. Yeah.
Well, that's kind of cool.
Yep, and there are a lot of trees coming down.
Alice saw the story. She said, Perry, you going to go out and get us all a tree? I said, yeah, Alice, I'm not doing anything between midnight and 4. I'll get right on it. I'll go get you a tree for $1. And by the way, don't complain because I only paid $1 for it. All right, let's take a look at Wall Street this morning. And thank you, Preston. He's the guy with Smart Lawn. If you're tired of mowing and edging and feeding and weeding and all that, get a Smart Lawn. Anyway, the Dow's off 30 points. However, the Nas turned around. It's up almost 32 points, and the S&P down to almost 3 points. So a little bit of one foot on the gas, the other one on the brake at the ringing of the bell. Gold's hanging in there at 42.29. Silver, it's very high, 58.53, even though it's down. And crude oil down a few pennies, 62.18. So interesting numbers for a Monday.
I have an intro for this next story, but the intro almost sparks a conversation in itself, and that is we've seen a lot of interesting activities from recent immigrants into this country, specifically Somalia. Is Governor Tim Walz going to survive this stuff that's going on?
I can't see how he does.
I don't either.
I mean, his daughter came out over the weekend, and she was pretty vulgar.
Was she? Oh, I didn't see it.
Oh,
Oh, no doubt.
You thought she just graduated from Naval Academy.
Oh, gosh.
It was really bad.
Oh, okay.
Really bad.
Well, we're watching it. And former FBI Special Agent Nicole Parker spoke with Fox Business's Maria Bartiromo about an Afghan immigrant who was arrested for threatening to blow up a building in Texas.
Well, first of all, that individual in Texas, he actually was very vocal about it and said, I actually came to the United States to kill Americans. And he said that the Taliban was very dear to him. And that's who we let in. This is an individual that came in under Operation Allies Welcome. And I know this is very startling to say, but I call it Operation Terrorist Welcome, because what they basically did, Maria, is that they opened up our country to those that want to harm us. I mean, this individual vocally said, I wanted to come to America to kill people. And that's who the Biden administration allowed in. And they talk about, we vetted everybody that came in. That is absolutely 100% false. I was an FBI special agent during that time frame, and they were asking agents to go do temporary duty assignments overseas to do this quote-unquote vetting. I know agents that were over in Doha, and they said that there was absolutely no vetting going on. It's impossible to vet these individuals against information that does not exist in our database systems. They're coming from Afghanistan, a very primitive country. Everyone would say that their birthday was January 1st, and they would just select a year. And then even when they did see red flags, the FBI would say, look, we see red flags, or the Department of Defense contractors that they would work with said, we see red flags. And the Biden administration and State Department would say, let them in. And they did.
Mm.
Well, look, this is a huge scandal.
Yeah.
A huge scandal. I don't know where this is going to go, but it is really, really big and messy. And the only thing I can tell you, folks, is that hold on, it's ugly. And I don't see how Governor Walz survives this. Now, Mike Lindell has filed the papers, but he hasn't announced. And apparently there is another Republican running for governor in Minnesota who's pretty credible. Not to say that Mike isn't. It's just that a guy that's a little bit more in the know, so to speak. Yeah. So we'll see where this goes. I think Walz is toast.
Do you think Walz will be challenged within his own party?
Well, he should be.
Yeah.
The problem with Walz is, I mean, now, just think about this, folks. He could have been our next vice president.
Oh, I shudder at the thought. Yeah. And imagine with his boss being Kamala.
Well, and then you have Omar, who cannot answer questions about what's going on in Minnesota.
Right.
They're saying it's bigger than Watergate. It's bigger than Watergate. So Watergate now kind of being the
standard,
I guess the standard of corruption.
I guess.
But look, this is really bad. This is you would think. Is it Minnesotans?
Minnesotans, yeah.
Minnesotans.
Yeah.
What's their moniker? Are they ducks, cows, buffalo? What are they?
Gophers.
Gophers.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
You know what we do with gophers on the farm?
I'm sorry I asked that. End of story. We're done with this. All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. Whew, man, I got to get...
It's been an exciting year filled with many improvements at the Dove. There's still more work ahead. Would you prayerfully consider a special year-end gift to renew tower leases and a broadcast expansion to reach new viewers? Thank you from the Dove.
TPUSA Faith is coming to Southern Oregon and partnering with Game Changers. That's right. It's time for Southern Oregon to stand for families. Join us for a powerful and special Game Changers event with TPUSA Faith on Tuesday, December 9th at 6:30 p.m. at Edgewater Christian Fellowship. Join us for an inspiring message from pastor and author John Amanchukwu. Again, this special night is open to men, women, children, and families. Everyone is invited to be encouraged, equipped, and challenged to stand strong in biblical truth. Bring the whole crew. Admission is just $10 per person for anyone over the age of 10. Game Changers is partnering with TPUSA Faith and bringing in author John Amanchukwu Tuesday, December 9th at 6:30 p.m. at Edgewater. Get your tickets now and be a part of a night that will change lives. Register online at GameChangersNorthwest.org.
Hi, I'm Sherry Breslin with Rogue Valley Security. Whether it's alarms, cameras, keyless entry, or even Starlink, we tailor solutions for your home or business. We believe in professionalism, excellence, and integrity. Every job, every time. Visit RogueValleySecurity.com.
All right, good morning to you. 33 minutes past the hour and a beautiful Monday morning. Well, you know, there's a lot of crazy things going on in the world and will be until Jesus comes. But in the meantime, in Israel, there's been quite an event that has taken place that's really been not only encouragement, I think, to Israel, but a wake up for all of us. Thousands of pastors from around the country went to Israel. Can you imagine? This is one of the busiest times for pastors in their home church.
Oh, sure.
And they got on a plane and went down there to be a part of this event. So let's check in with CBN Newswatch. They have the update.
This is CBN Newswatch.
We begin in Israel, where the first ever Ambassador Summit commissioned more than 1,000 pastors to stand with Israel and combat anti-Semitism. The gathering aims to make what's heard in America's pulpits stronger than today's propaganda. CBN Middle East Bureau Chief Chris Mitchell brings us the story from Jerusalem.
U.S. Ambassador Mike Huckabee explained the heart of the commissioning.
You're not an ambassador for the state of Israel. Nobody's asking you to take on a political role. In fact, I don't recommend it. You got enough trouble being a pastor. You sure don't need to get into this business. No, I would say you're an ambassador for Christ, His kingdom, and His word.
Reverend Johnny Moore said this gathering marks a defining moment.
So this is an army of pastors, 1,000 pastors, the largest group of pastors at one time that has ever come to Israel specifically for one purpose, to stand in solidarity with the Jewish state and the people of Israel.
He put it in historical perspective.
I believe every generation has a test. One generation had to face the test of the trains going to Auschwitz, another generation of the Jews in the Soviet Union crying for help. Our generation is facing a resurgence of anti-Semitism in our schools, on our streets, in the mouth of our politicians, ubiquitous in media. There isn't a Jewish community in the United States of America that hasn't faced it. This is our moment. The question is whether we will rise to the occasion, and I can tell you from leaving this room a few minutes ago, we're going to rise to the occasion. We will not let this evil win this time.
Israeli leaders encouraged the pastors to be bold and express gratitude for their support.
Stand up and be counted. Tell the truth. Speak to young people. Speak up and be counted. I'm counting on you, and I know you'll do what has to be done. That's what our destiny calls for.
This is not just Israel's fight. This is a fight for civilization. We are facing very much a civilizational struggle like we saw in the 30s between Nazism and the free world. Today, that Nazism is Islamism in coordination with communism, which today's expression is called woke, but it's the same thing.
Behind the scenes, Shira Mills of the Friends of Zion Museum helped make the summit possible.
Never been done before. This is something very unique, very difficult, but here we are. From my point of view, it's miraculous.
The vision going forward, recruiting 10,000 more pastors in the next 36 months.
Because there's a lot of misinformation out there, a lot of young people that are not for Israel, and they're just getting the wrong information. So our whole idea here is to reach the youth of America and around the world and just show the truth.
One of the most moving moments came from Daniel Leshinsky, whose son Yaron was murdered, along with his fiancée Sarah Milgram, in Washington, D.C. earlier this year.
Well, my message is to pay attention that anti-Semitism is a problem for all of us, not only for the Jewish people, not only for the Israelis, but also for the pastors in the U.S. for the church. Anti-Semitism, we know that it's a demon, it's a power, it's a spiritual power that is going first against the Jewish people and then against all the people of God.
One of the last events of the Ambassador Summit was here on the Mount of Olives, where more than 1,000 pastors came to overlook the city and pray for the peace of Jerusalem.
With 1,000 pastors gathered at such a critical moment for the nation of Israel, when anti-Semitism is rising in our nation and globally, this has been such a pivotal turning point. I believe we can turn the tide of anti-Semitism.
1,000, right? 1,000 pastors and leaders that didn't even know each other. And he called and we heard the word of the Lord. And this is a season to see anti-Semitism defeated and to see God's glory come to his chosen people.
Chris Mitchell is with us now from Jerusalem. Chris, does the leadership of the Ambassador Summit view this event as a success?
Yeah, hey, Gary, very much so. Many didn't think it could even happen. There's a war going on in Gaza when many of the people were making their decisions to come here. A lot of people thought 1,000 pastors in December, which is for many the busiest time of the year for many of the churches, and yet they did. They came. One impact that this gathering has had is that many of the pastors that support Israel maybe sense they were alone. And now when they see other like-minded pastors, there's a sense of they're not alone and a sense of reassurance. They got to hear from people on the ground. Yesterday, there were many panels with people that were, Israeli experts, military experts. And especially they had the opportunity, Gary, to go down south to the kibbutzim down there, attacked by Hamas on October 7th. They got to hear from several of the hostages that had been released and many of the families of the fallen in Gaza. So all in all, a very impactful trip. But many people didn't think it happened, but it did.
Hey, okay, good stuff all the way around. Good morning to you. Happy Monday.
Yeah.
Well, 1,000 pastors in Israel. Isn't that wonderful?
That's amazing.
What a statement of support.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
All right, let's check out the weather from the Back to Future person.
A look at our weather from Grange Co-op. With an atmospheric river surging across the top of our region, rain with a flood watch and gusty winds for Vancouver, Portland, Wilsonville, and McMinnville, with daytime highs in the mid to upper 50s. Continuing with rain, a flood watch and gusty winds for Salem, Albany, Corvallis, and Eugene, with daytime highs in the mid-50s and a southwest wind 11 to 17 miles per hour, gusting up to 30 miles per hour. In Central Oregon, a chance of rain in upper 50s in Prineville, rain likely in Bend with a high near 53, and Sun River in the upper 40s. Over in Boise, Idaho, patchy fog, then mostly cloudy with a slight chance of rain in near 53. Along the Oregon coast, rain with a high near 60 in Coos Bay, rainy, breezy in upper 50s in Port Orford, rain likely in Brookings in mid-50s. In Crescent City, California, a chance of drizzle, mostly cloudy and near 58. In southern Oregon, patchy dense fog with a slight chance of rain in the Rogue Valley, then partly sunny and highs near 58 for Grants Pass, Medford, and Ashland. Patchy fog, then mostly sunny and 52 in Klamath Falls. Into northern California, patchy fog, then mostly sunny in low 50s in Wairika, mostly sunny in mid-60s in Redding, partly sunny in near 57 in Chico, and decreasing clouds in mid-50s in Sacramento. In the Bay Area, patchy dense fog, then sunny in low 60s in Santa Rosa and upper 50s in Napa. Sunny in San Francisco with a high near 60 and a light north wind. And patchy fog, then sunny and 64 in San Jose. It's a snapshot of your Monday weather from Grange Co-op.
Ooh, beautiful shot. Looking, whoa, that's the other way.
It's got to be east, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know where that is. Oh, that could be Mount Ashland.
Yeah, it could be. You're right.
Yeah,
yep.
But not the shot that we
Gorgeous.
saw before.
We were seeing the glow of the sun coming up on the underside.
We're the only broadcasters trying to figure out what our control room's doing to us.
What we have here is a failure to communicate.
Yeah, we're high in communication here. Anyway, nice shot.
All right. Well, today marks a groundbreaking moment in television history when I Love Lucy dared to do what no show had ever dared to do before.
On December 8, 1952, the episode titled Lucy is Enceinte aired, featuring Lucille Ball's real-life pregnancy written directly into the storyline. In the episode, Lucy tries in the most Lucy way possible to find the perfect moment to tell Ricky he's going to be a father. At the time, TV networks considered pregnancy too sensitive to mention on the air. The show wasn't even allowed to use the word pregnant. Instead, they used the gentler term expecting. Yet, despite the restrictions, the episode was a cultural milestone, warmly portraying the excitement, nerves, and tenderness of starting a family, all while breaking one of television's biggest taboos. A moment of comedy, courage, and history, all unfolding on this day in 1952.
You couldn't use the word pregnant?
You can't say pregnant. We're using expecting. Expecting. What are you expecting? A baby.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think I remember seeing that show.
You may have, but that was groundbreaking.
Wow.
And you could see too. She had her little, maternity wear on.
Oh yeah.
Yes, the whole thing.
Was Brew Cream one of the advertisers on that show?
Well, Ricky had no shortage of it, did he?
Huh?
Oh my goodness.
Okay. Anyway, all right. This next story is equally as cute. A 5-year-old wanders out of the house and ends up at Chick-fil-A early in the morning.
Oh.
This could have gone the wrong way, but fortunately it went the right way, and here it is.
We arrived on scene. Hello. Hello. And as we walked in, we see a little kid sitting at the table eating his breakfast with one of the managers. Hey, buddy.
Oh, look at that.
We asked where he came from, and he kept saying he walked to Chick-fil-A.
You know where your house is, right, honey? It's right across the street, right over there.
Okay, cool. I have children, and the first thing you get that knot in your stomach because somebody else who's a parent is missing their child. Are you gonna show us where you live?
Yeah.
Okay. We gathered him up. Look at that. Say thank you.
There's a cow for you.
I walked him to the back of my patrol car.
Are you going to get me in jail?
No, I'm not going to put you in jail. And we started checking the area. All right, buddy, where's your house at? We were wondering where did this child come from. Is it right here? None of these doors are open. None of these garages are open.
I don't live in a duck pond.
So then he explained that he had a white fence.
That's where it is.
Right here?
Yeah.
And that's when we pulled up in the driveway. And then we realized that the call box wasn't working. We had no way to get through the gate. How about that? My initial thoughts were, I can't believe he came out of here. It's the most secure house on that block in reference to having a fence all the way around, front, back, sides. Please.
I'm Phil.
I'm Victoria.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Hey, do you have a son named William?
William.
Yeah, a little boy?
Yeah. Our 5-year-old William had an adventure a few weeks ago, and we live nearby very close.
Yeah, he was down at the Chick-fil-A. Are you kidding me? No, we have him in our police car. You want to come get him? You could just see the look on his face. It would be for any parent, including myself. It's disbelief.
It's kind of scary, actually, because we didn't realize what was going on until after we came out.
Do you have any idea how he got out?
Yeah, he just unlocked the front door, but he's never done that.
I was worried about him because was he scared? Was he crying? Was he upset?
Come on, little man.
He was quiet, which is unusual for him.
Did you get scared?
Why did you go to
Chick-fil-A? You're welcome.
I think it did shake him up some, so I don't think we really needed to, impress too much that he shouldn't do it again, things like that. I think he understood that it was serious, but we did talk about it.
He said he opened the gate and couldn't find y'all and went down the street.
I know he knows how to get to Chick-fil-A because we walked there. I would have never expected him to come down here on his own in the morning before anybody else in the house was up.
God, all that could have gone the wrong way.
Oh, yeah. Did he have money with him? I mean, he was eating breakfast when the cops came in.
Well, they probably did the right thing.
Yeah.
Set him down here.
Yes.
Let's give him let's give him some chicken nuggets or something.
Right. Well, if you're going to go someplace, why not Chick-fil-A?
Are you going to take me to jail? No,
Yeah,
but
are
your
you
dad might. Your
mom and dad
You're going to go to daddy jail when you get there.
Yes, indeed.
All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. Wow.
It's been an exciting year filled with many improvements at the Dove. There's still more work ahead. Would you prayerfully consider a special year-end gift to renew tower leases and a broadcast expansion to reach new viewers? Thank you from the Dove.
Heavenly Father, I just want to say thank you today. I don't want to pray just when I need something or when things aren't going my way. I need you all the time, no matter what is going on, and I just want to say thank you. Even though things aren't perfect, you are, and your plan for me is. Thank you for your grace, for your mercy, for your unconditional love for me, and most of all, thank you for sending your Son Jesus to die for my sins to prove that unconditional love, that even while I was a sinner, he died for me. Thank you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Twin Factor is brought to you on the Dove TV by Black Flag Armory. Firearms, gunsmithing, training, and the best prices in Southern Oregon. Twin Factor, weekends on the Dove TV.
Get ready for fun at Rogue Ski Shop Think Snow Sale. Boulder Gear clothing now 20% off. Goggles, adults starting at $29, kids starting at $26. All Scott gloves 20% off. If you ski or ride, it's time to slide into Rogue Ski Shop Medford.
Well, welcome back. And the other day I had Pastor Mark Little on. Always great to have him. What a encourager. You know, I say we always need our big little fix. Yeah. Anyway, I asked him, if we don't understand our identity in Christ. Now, this I'm talking to you believers out there just for a moment. If you don't understand your identity in Christ, then can you ever understand your purpose in life?
Yeah.
You know, everybody's searching for purpose. Right. Well, you have a purpose from God. Your question is, do you understand what that is? And can you know what that purpose is without knowing your identity in Christ? So anyway, here's what he had to say about it.
What is my biblical identity? Because it's not just identity. We can start off with who we are in Christ as we've accepted the Lord Jesus into our lives, as the Holy Spirit drew us and baptized us into the body, and Jesus then baptizes us into the Spirit and activates us. What happens? We get a regenerated mind, and the Holy Spirit then becomes dwells in us. Our bodies become a temple of the Holy Spirit, and our minds change. We have transformed minds, not conformed to the ways of the world, but transformed in the renewing of our minds. That's who we are. That's our identity. We are forgiven. We are justified by grace through faith. We are redeemed from the hand of the enemy. We are a new creation. That's identity in Christ. And I can go on and on and on and on and on. We are sons of God. We are heirs of the kingdom. We are joint heirs with Christ. That's our identity. But then you've got to take it a step further. And here's where I believe biblical identity is found. It's not just that your nature has been changed, but then you have to ask yourself, what is my purpose? What am I called to do? You know, as a man, we value ourselves by what we do. We value ourselves by the work of our hands, and it's no different. That's a gender, a sex issue. But when it comes to our spiritual identity, our biblical identity, we have to say not only who we are in Christ, rooted in Christ, but what has he called us to do? And so for me, that is the struggle for so many people, because they haven't quite figured out what their calling is. I would refer them back to Ephesians, where we talk about Ephesians 4, where we talk about the offices that Christ has given. And then look over at Romans and look and see the gifts of the Father, and then look over in 1 Corinthians 12, the gifts of the Son, and figure out what it is, what gifts he's given you. And that's going to help you figure out your calling. For me, I'm a pastor. The Greek word in the text for pastor is shepherd. So for me, I have a call. I love on people. I want to make sure that they're walking according to his will. I want to do Matthew 28, the Great Commission, making disciples of nations, by the way, that we all share that. as a calling. So if you're confused, just go to Matthew 28. I love it. I love it. Our calling, principally, as the church, as the body of Christ, is to worship God and to make disciples of nations. And so if you're having trouble with your call, you can start right there.
Go. I was writing down a couple little things there. He talks about God's will in our life, something that sometimes can be confusing to us.
It can.
He talks about the calling on our life. And he actually clarified it there at the end about where's a great place to start. To start worshiping God.
Yeah.
And but I think sometimes we struggle with a calling beyond that. Okay, what's God calling me into? I want to be in His will. I'm not sure what that will is. And there are a couple possibilities in front of me. And I think people sometimes struggle with, okay, God, help me. It's like the old Yogi Berra adage, when you come to a fork in the road, take it. Okay, Lord, help me here.
Well, remember Ecclesiastes 1. Everything has a time and a season. So you may be in a season of change, and change is always difficult because it requires faith and patience. And you live in a very anxious world where people don't have any patience anymore.
True.
And they don't know what it is to wait on God, myself included.
Yeah, I know.
So, slow down.
Yeah.
Get the answer. And you're not going to get the answer outside of the book. I think if you don't stick your nose in the book, and I'm talking about the Bible here, if you don't stick your nose in the Bible and let the Bible speak to you, there's a high probability you'll make the wrong decision. Because the Word of God will help confirm what God's telling you.
Right.
So look for that. All right, so much for that little sermon.
All right.
I got some great guests coming up. Chris Salcido will be back with us. He's a veteran broadcaster on Newsmax. Look forward to talking to him. And what is the deal with the Somali immigration problem in
Great question.
in Minnesota?
Yeah. Great question.
And is there a shift among Latino voters in the United States?
Don't say shift. It's Adam shift. I just, every time.
Okay.
You triggered me.
Okay.
Okay, moving on.
You know what? You need some fresh air. You need to... Pam, get him out of town for a week, would you?
Hang on, this is good.
Okay.
In a tight-knit community, a farm community in North Dakota, neighbors are more than neighbors, they're family. And earlier this month, that bond was on display near a small town of Antler.
After local farmer Randy Filesvold was killed in a crash in September, friends feared his final harvest would never be finished, so they stepped in. Led by Wyatt Thompson and Andy Gates, farmers from more than 10 communities rallied together, 75 volunteers, 12 combines, 7 grain carts, and over 40 trucks, all to bring in Randy's remaining crop. In just days, they harvested 1,400 acres of corn along with soybeans and canola, a massive operation coordinated with local grain elevators to handle the non-stop flow. Randy's widow, Kara, called the scene breathtaking, saying the outpouring of support brought her and her sons peace in a heartbreaking moment. In a message to the community, she wrote, "I will always remember this. Randy would be so proud." A powerful reminder that in this community, when one farmer falls, neighbors and friends rise up to finish the work together.
Wow. Wow.
What a great, that's life out there, isn't it?
It is. Yep.
I take 1 Corinthians 15:58. Therefore, my beloved brothers and sisters, be steadfast, immovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord. Why? Knowing that in the Lord your labor is not in vain. Take that with you as a Monday morning marching orders, and be nice to somebody. Buy them a candy cane.
To all our Dove family, thank you for your faithful support of the Dove TV and radio. It's been an exciting year filled with many improvements and growth for the Dove. As we close out 2025, would you prayerfully consider a special year-end gift to the Dove to help us renew our tower leases and prepare for an exciting expansion to reach thousands of new viewers for Christ? Our goal is $223,000. Thank you for partnering with the Dove.
Your property demands equipment with more reliability, durability, and versatility built in. Kubota equipment is ready to get the job done right.
you feel most alive, where you feel most at home. And this is living. Bobcat, the company that changed the way the world works, is coming home with a quality compact tractor built to match your quality of life. This isn't work you have to do. It's work you get to do. So get it done in a tractor that's all you. See your dealer or visit bobcat.com.
Every day in Southern Oregon, lives are shaken by poverty, violence, and hardship. Last year alone, the Salvation Army reached more than 11,000 people in Jackson County with food, shelter, and critical support. Behind every meal served, every family housed, and every life restored, there's a volunteer making it happen. Please join us. There are many ways you can volunteer and make a difference in someone's life today. The Salvation Army doing the most good together. This message made possible by the Oregon Health Authority Hospital-Based Intervention Grant.
Come fall in love with Northridge Senior Living, where contemporary sunlit interiors meet old world elegance. Walk through our lovely hallways and enjoy the fun staff-led activities. Forge lasting friendships with other residents and our exceptional caregivers. Dine in style. Gather near the fireplace under breathtaking chandeliers. Our reasonably priced apartments are spacious with private balconies. Northridge is Christian-owned and operated, pet-friendly, and only 2 blocks from Asante Rogue Regional Medical Center. On-site 24/7 in-home care is available. We also offer senior adult daycare where your loved one can spend the day with us and the evenings with you. Northridge Senior Living, your home.
The Dove still has more work to do. With your help, we need to raise $223,000 to renew tower leases and broadcast expansion.
Welcome to Focus Today. I'm your host, Perry Atkinson, and delighted to have back with us Chris Salcido. He's a veteran broadcaster and the author of a fascinating read called The Rise of the Liberty-Loving Latino, A New American Revolution. He's also the host of the Chris Salcido Show there on Newsmax. These guys do a great job. And he has the Salcido Storm podcast, and he's also the executive director of the Conservative Hispanic Society. He does have a website, Chris Salcido, that's C-S-A-L-C-E-D-O, chrissalcido.com. Wow, a lot there. Hey, Chris, good to see you, friend. How are you?
Hey, Perry, thanks for having me back.
Yeah, you're the man. By the way, you guys, Chris, and all you guys there at Newsmax, thanks for what you do. You guys are doing a great job. Just really.
Well, yeah, we are needed, that's for sure. Out there, the biased left-wing media out there, it's definitely nice to have a differing perspective from time to time.
Wow. Well, thanks again. A lot to talk to you about. Of course, the big controversy is the president calling out what's happening with the Somali community there in Minnesota. Went as far as calling them garbage. This is pretty tough. What's your take on this story?
Well, I think the president was making reference to those who were defrauding the people of the United States, and I think we can call anybody who's acting in a criminal manner garbage safely, because I don't believe the United States of America, our tradition, is that we regard criminals highly. We shouldn't here in this country. So those, as it was revealed by Kristi Noem, those who perpetrated fraud upon entering our country, 50% of those who applied for visas were fraudulent visas, according to the Secretary of Homeland Security. I think that is garbage. And I do not believe in law breaking. I do not believe that our laws are there to be broken by foreign nationals. And I take a very dim view of it.
I think we got our brain on tilt on how big this scandal is. How big is this mess?
It's huge. It's absolutely huge. The idea that we have been forced to deal with in this country by the left and by, I'm sorry, some people on the right who have forgotten who we are, that the idea that everybody has a right around the world to come to the United States. And that is just not true. There is no nation on planet Earth where you have a right to go there if you just want to. The United States is no different. We have the right to meter those who come into our country, to set standards for those who come into our country. And I think the number one standard ought to be, can you contribute in a positive fashion to the United States of America? And that is a fair criteria to have when looking about who you're going to invite into your nation.
Okay, just a little bit more of a background on this. The covers are being pulled off this. It's just, quite frankly, it's mind-boggling how messy this is, and it goes all the way to the governor. Does he survive this?
In a left-wing state, yes. Sadly, although I heard Mike Lindell has announced that he will be running for governor in Minnesota. Who knows? I don't know how many Minnesotans are actually up in arms about the corruption of their government. I think voter apathy in left-wing states is the reason why you have somebody like Tim Awals, who continually fails and fails and fails. I have an expression on talk radio, on my talk radio show, that nobody fails up like a liberal. And it's true. You can, in America, the left wing has this standard: the bigger the failure, the more they deserve to be in government. I think Americans in general ought to change that standard.
We're talking $1 billion. You don't think the average citizen there in Minnesota sees this?
I don't think the average citizen. I mean, look, the reason why you have this government to begin with in these left-wing states, Minnesota, California, New York, is the people have tuned out. They just assume that the government is there to steal from somebody else and give it to them. They never realize that they are the victims until it's too late. I would hope that there are still enough pro-Americans in Minnesota to look at $1 billion worth of fraud, some of it going, according to reports, to Al-Shabaab, a terrorist organization, that there's a majority in Minnesota who are still American enough to take a dim view of that. I just don't know that that's true.
Wow. So, some say that the Democrats are going to use this to troll the president, to pull him into a racist argument. Others are saying that they're going to use this as a campaign to get the Somalians to support Democrats. Both could be true, don't you think?
I think so. And I would ask those individuals, what race is Somali? As far as I know, Somalia is a country, and not a very well-run country, by virtue of the fact that everybody wants to leave and get out.
Yeah.
So the idea, I mean, if Democrats want to say that Somalia is a race, I would love to have that discussion. It's like saying America is a race, which, by the way, Ilhan Omar over the weekend tried to make that case that President Trump and Stephen Miller, by insisting that people come here and assimilate and become American, that's somehow racist. I'd like to have that discussion.
Okay, so we'll have to see where this is going to go, but it's such an uncovering. I think it was Steve Miller that said over the weekend, this is far bigger than Watergate. This is a huge deal. Millions and millions of dollars are being squandered here. And will there be any consolation, so to speak? Will there be any follow-through with this?
Well, Perry, I got to be honest. This latest scandal, how many times have we seen what Democrats have done? We can classify everything they've done to this country as bigger than Watergate. Arctic frost, way bigger than Watergate. Perpetuating this myth that Joe Biden was of sound mind and body to be president of the United States, way bigger than Watergate. President Otto Penn making decisions for the country. Nobody elected President Otto Penn, but he was making all the decisions. He or she, whoever was running that machine, right? Way bigger than Watergate. I think the American people ought to really have a look at what the Democrats have done, the harm that they've done, and there needs to be some sort of accountability.
Are we becoming immune to evil?
Yes. Sadly, we are. We're not immune to evil. We're being desensitized to evil. We have been told that calling out evil is racist. We're being told that calling out evil is somehow wrong, and that allows evil to continue to grow and fester unchecked. We have become tolerant of evil. And in some cases, in Democrat-run states, they have become supportive of evil. And I think that's another thing we ought to reverse in this country, because the United States of America's founding is one of principle that stands against evil.
Well said. So before I leave Minnesota, if this doesn't go checked, or if this goes unchecked, I mean, you're heading toward, you got a state heading to bankruptcy here, right?
A state, well, look at the federal government. Look at what we've been doing time immemorial now, the last at least 3 or 4 decades. We are over $37 trillion in debt in this country. And who was I having a debate with about this morning? I guess it must have been on the radio show. We were talking about the virtues of President Trump's emphasis of getting rid of the IRS, stopping the income tax. I'm all for that because, look, I think it's idiocy to tax something that is desirable, which is earning income. Making an honest living should be something the government should reward, not punish. And right now, with the income tax, our government punishes those who succeed, and I think it's wrong.
Yeah. I want to come to your book and a lot of your passion behind all of this, the rise of liberty-loving Latinos. The government, the border has been shut down. By the way, there's a picture of the cover of the book on the screen there. Check it out. As we all know, the border is shut down, and they're following up on all this. But at the end of the day, how would you describe the Latino community in America today?
I would describe it like I would the American community. There is debate inside the Latino community the same way in the American community writ large. You have your loudmouth leftist Latinos who are in constant conflict with liberty-loving Latinos like me. You've got a conservative like me constantly butting heads with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who is someone who wants nothing but destruction for our nation, destruction of the U.S. Constitution, and the protections it affords us. The Latino community is very much in a process. Now, CNN and MSNBS and all the other left-wing media operations out there would like you to think it's all settled, that Latinos all think one way, that blacks all think one way, and whites all think one way. It's not true. It's not true. There is a debate that needs to be had, and there is a robust one, in particular in the Latino community right now.
So is it divided? Is it dividing, or is it uniting?
Well, it just is. There is a debate about what level of interference the government should be allowed to have in our lives. Mm-hmm. And it's not one that is confined to the United States of America or the Latino community, the black community, the white community, Asians. It is something that mankind has been forced to grapple with, and sadly, the conservatives worldwide are losing this battle because of totalitarianism being welcomed in and implemented by those on the left. Praise God, there's going to be a resurgence in those who don't kneel before government, but kneel before God only, and retain the ability to chart their course forward as men and women of good conscience, consistent with the American tradition. Hopefully that's going to make a resurgence here. And if President Trump has his say, he will.
How has sanctuary cities fueled this problem?
Well, sanctuary cities, states, jurisdictions. I think it's fair for us to examine what exactly are these states and jurisdictions. They are individuals who look at federal law and say, oh, it's just a suggestion. Right? Mm-hmm. How many of us can look at Obamacare and say, well, you know what? I'm just not going to obey Obamacare today. Oh, you see those gun restrictions being passed by these left-wing zealots? I'm not going to adhere to them today. What sanctuary policies are, folks, are an abdication, an abandonment of adherence to the rule of law, which is a stabilizing force in a nation of laws known as the United States. Right. It should not be allowed. It should be punished. California should be punished for what they have done. Sanctuary cities should be punished for what they have done. If it is unacceptable for American citizens to break the law, it should be even more unacceptable and punished even more severely for governments breaking our law.
Well, that's well said. So I guess the question is, and by the way, here in Oregon, we're the oldest and longest sanctuary state. And our governor here is pretty remarkable in enforcing some of this. But the question being, you just brought it up, Chris, is can the Fed step in over a state? This would be, I guess, a 10th Amendment issue, but can the federal government step in over a state based upon what you just said, that they're giving lawless passes to illegal immigrants over over the top of law-abiding citizens.
I will cite for you a case out of Arizona that happened some years back. Remember SB 1070, Barry? SB 1070 was Arizona's attempt. All they did was Xerox copy federal immigration law and said, we will enforce that in the state of Arizona. The United States Supreme Court said no. They overruled that, struck it down as unconstitutional. Why? Because they said the federal government, through precedent, through judicial rulings, and through the Constitution, has complete unilateral control over immigration. Who comes in and who doesn't. That is the exclusive purview of the federal government. So if it works in the negative toward those who are trying to stand up for law and order, it should also work in the positive to those who are in the states standing up for lawlessness, which Oregon does, which California does, which the state of Washington does, Illinois, New York. If we had a federal government that was dedicated to enforcing the law as the federal government was in stopping the states from doing it themselves, then yes, by your description in your question, the federal government has every right to clamp down on Oregon and say, you are in violation of U.S. law, you are violating federal law, and the Supremacy Clause is quite clear. And if you don't stop, there will be severe punishments for the state of Oregon. That should be happening with an America First administration like the Trump administration.
Yeah, instead we have a governor who's threatening to have the local police agency arrest federal ICE agents. It hasn't happened. We're waiting to see if it will. I can't even imagine.
I would dare him to try. I would dare him to try.
I just can't even imagine a police officer, a well-respected police officer, would take that order and follow through with it.
He wouldn't. Most people of good conscience would not. And again, the reason why your governor is cowardly and won't implement that is because he knows he would be inviting increased scrutiny. Yeah. He knows he would be inviting a strong response from the centralized federal government of President Trump. And it's not. And he's a coward, and he won't do it.
One other quick question.
Not the president, your governor.
Governor, yes, thank you. Okay. One other quick question, Chris, before I take a break, and that is we have these rogue district judges, federal district judges, doing these injunctions who's protecting these sanctuary cities and state. Even after the Supreme Court has told them to keep their nose out of national business, there doesn't seem to be any consequence for their violation. What do you think of that?
That is a mechanism of your member of Congress, folks. If you don't like the fact that we have these rogue judges who are out there with impunity doing these lawless actions from the bench, legislating from the bench, there is a mechanism the Constitution gave us to remedy rogue judges, and it's called the Congress of the United States. Mm-hmm. And I would say that the Republicans who are in charge right now are doing a sorrowful, disgraceful job of adhering to and living up to the charge they've been given in the U.S. Constitution to be that vital check against a rogue judiciary.
Yeah, pretty bad. All right, let me take a quick break. Check out Chris's book, The Rise of the Liberty-Loving Latino and New American Revolution. There's a picture of the cover of the book on the screen. He does have a website, chrissalcedo.com. Where can they get the book, Chris?
You can right now, as we're speaking right now, you jump on Amazon and you pre-order it, and you're going to save some money. Tomorrow, the book drops. That means the discount goes away, and then you're just going to order it outright. I would save the money and order today. All right. So you can save a couple of bucks, and it'd make a great stocking stuffer for the liberty lover in your life.
Hey, God bless you. By the way, congratulations. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back.
He's got the whole world in his hands, and he knows the plans for us. Above and beyond we could ask or imagine, his grace is more than enough. It's in his hands, it's in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. Come on, Steve.
Buying or selling a home can be stressful. It's one of the biggest decisions you'll make in your lifetime. That's why it's important to work with someone you trust, someone who has the right experience and knowledge of the market.
Hi, we're Patrick and Paulina Lizer with Lizer Real Estate Group.
And whether you're looking to buy or sell a home, our mission is to take the stress out of the transaction and make it as seamless and rewarding as possible.
Contact us today. We look forward to working with you.
Life is complicated enough. Why worry about what to do with your extra car? Skip the costs of maintaining it, storing it, insuring it, or renewing registration. Car repairs? Forget about it. Here's one easy solution to your car problem. Donate it to our station. It's fast, free, tax deductible, and if you donate, you're going to feel incredible knowing you're supporting quality programming. Interested? Just call this toll-free number or donate online. Thank you.
Don't let pain hold you back. I'm Dr. Joel Brind, and I developed Sweetamine to stop inflammation the all-natural way. Just use it like a sweetener once a day. It's that simple. My unique formula harnesses the power of glycine and works around the clock to boost your overall health, stopping chronic inflammation that causes pain. Try my 12-day challenge risk-free for just $19.95 with free shipping at sweetamine.com or call 1-855-GET-SWEET today. Relief has never been so sweet.
Welcome back. What an honor to have back with us today, Chris Salcedo. He's one of the great guys there on Newsmax's show. He's authored a book called The Rise of the Liberty-Loving Latino. And by the way, we found out today is the day to go online there at Amazon and order. You can get a pre-order discount. Tomorrow it officially goes on sale. So congratulations, Chris, for your work. He does have a website, chrissalcedo.com, and there's a picture of his landing page. Chris, I was trying to figure out how to ask this question, so give me a little space here if I don't ask it correctly.
Sure.
We know that our immigration laws have been lax, and then all of a sudden we want to enforce them, and we're doing all this, and it's the right thing to do. I understand the term illegal. Because of the laxness, we have some Latinos in our country that are working hard, but they're not legal. How can we vet them?
We can vet them by, let's say, how do I put this? Bear with, give me a little space, Barry, here, because I think we've got to go back to saying definitively illegal immigration is wrong, illegal immigration is immoral,
right,
and illegal immigration is bad for any nation forced to endure it by its political class.
Right.
Both Republicans and Democrats, if anybody hears something I'm saying today, understand this. Republicans and Democrats have colluded together in Washington, D.C. to impose illegal immigration on you. President Trump has proven we don't have to tolerate illegal immigration.
Right.
This has been something that has been foisted, has been allowed by your government against your will for the better part of a half century now. So let's be honest. So now, what we have got to do is insist that as a mechanism of our elected officials remaining our elected officials, they must be told, it must be made plain to them that you will create laws that make it impossible for any illegal alien to survive in America. You must pass laws that restrict, let's say, for example, illegal aliens right now. You come into America, you break into America, you can get a bank account, you can rent a house, you can buy a house, you can own property. You can, the welcome mat is rolled out for you. Once you get in, pretty much the world is your oyster. We must reverse that. As I'm going to paraphrase Benjamin Franklin, criminals cannot be made easy in their illegality.
Right.
So that must be our impetus. That must be our focus. Now, when that is our focus, illegal aliens will have a choice. They can either get right with the law, come in a legal fashion, and that's how we vet them, Perry. That's how we make sure that they're here, keeping their nose clean, and they want to be Americans. We mentioned in our first conversation, in our first segment here, that Ilhan Omar believes that being an American is somehow white supremacist. Mm-hmm. That the idea that you be an American is white supremacist. That's absolutely bat guano crazy.
Right.
And we should say that as a people. America is a just and a noble country with a great culture, and we should be proud of it. And if you want to join that American culture, great. The welcome mat is open so long as you want to come through the front door.
So, what about a work program?
Like a Bracero program? Is that what you're thinking, Perry?
Right. Because there's industries, if we don't have these workers, agriculture could really suffer.
It could, but again, you got to ask yourself why. Have we set up in our culture that the idea of manual labor is to be looked down upon? Have we set up an agricultural atmosphere to where, hey, you know what, guys who look like Chris Salcedo, we can pay them dirt wages, we can pay them poorly, and that way we can keep our costs down to the American citizens. So, are we as Americans saying, hey, you know what, we want to make it acceptable, and this is the Democrat position, by the way. We want to make it acceptable to pay guys who look like Chris Salcedo, maybe the Latino surname. We want to pay them less in dirt wages, no benefits, so that everybody else in America can have it better. I don't think, as a measure of fairness, as a measure of American fairness, that's the way to go. I believe that there are jobs, as George W. Bush said, that Americans won't do. But see, I'll take it a next step further. There are jobs that Americans won't do with the current wage being offered. Maybe we need to do a little bit of a reset with the agricultural community and other industries saying, hey, you know what, maybe you should start paying a fair wage, and that will attract Americans to come in.
No, I get that. I'm just trying to ask all the questions here, because what's coming out of this, which probably is the answer, is innovation in the agricultural world. We're developing machinery now that does the work of humans, and that's happening real fast. But I'm just wondering, in the interim, and I guess it is a wage thing, but moreover is the fact that they're willing to do the work. And I realize in the past that's created a lot of problems. But I guess what you're saying is, if you're illegal here, no matter how long you've been here, if you're illegally here, you go back and start over with the process, or do we find a way to get them in the process now?
Well, you can definitely. President Trump has turned off the spigot, so we have no more millions and millions and millions of illegal aliens coming into the country.
Right.
We must. There's going to be a case coming up before the Supreme Court, which will be argued, I believe, in the spring and decided in the summer, about birthright citizenship.
Right.
Do we convey citizenship status to somebody who was born of an illegal alien here, who was here by breaking our laws? Do we understand the nature of the 14th Amendment as part of the slave amendments? It was never meant to benefit illegal aliens. Nothing good, Perry, comes from a nation that breaks its own laws, and we're dealing with that right now.
Yeah, right.
We've got to start enforcing our laws, because that's the stability that made America great.
All right, before I run out of time, is there a shift among Latinos? I know that they're tremendously faith-based, most of them are. They have a great family ethic. In your research, are they turning to the right?
Well, in the election, it's definitely true. Now, I will say this: as President Trump has undertaken his law enforcement, refocused on law enforcement, in particular with the illegal immigrant population, you have the biased press out there warping it and condemning it in the worst possible manner. The president has seen an erosion of support in the Latino community because some people are buying the propaganda. Some people are accepting the idea that illegal aliens have a right to be in our country. And might I say, Perry, no illegal alien has the right to be in America. I'm sorry. I will have words with any left-winger out there who claims they have a right to be here. They do not. So there is a slight erosion. But by and large, the Democrats have set up their party in this way: pro-socialist, anti-science, pro-deviancy, pro-communism, pro-totalitarianism, and a lot of Latinos are looking at that saying, I don't want to go down that road. So they're open right now to hearing what the Republicans have to say. And that's the cautionary tale.
Right.
Republican, you better have something that's American and that can appeal to these individuals, someplace for them to go. And that's why the America First coalition set up by Trump is really the template that the Republicans should adopt.
Fascinating. All right, folks, check out Chris's book. It's available at a discount on a pre-launch. Today's the last day, The Rise of the Liberty-Loving Latino. There's a picture of the cover of the book, and you can go on Amazon and check that out. Check out his podcast and check out his website, chrissalcedo.com. Always an honor to have you, friend. Look forward to more visits. Stay in the fight, buddy.
Right back at you. You too, sir.
All right, God bless you.
It's been an exciting year filled with many improvements at the Dove. There's still more work ahead. Would you prayerfully consider a special year-end gift to renew tower leases and a broadcast expansion to reach new viewers? Thank you from the Dove.
Come fall in love with Northridge Senior Living, where contemporary sunlit interiors meet old world elegance. Walk through our lovely hallways and enjoy the fun staff-led activities. Forge lasting friendships with other residents and our exceptional caregivers. Dine in style. Gather near the fireplace under breathtaking chandeliers. Our reasonably priced apartments are spacious with private balconies. Northridge is Christian-owned and operated, pet-friendly, and only 2 blocks from Asante Rogue Regional Medical Center. On-site 24/7 in-home care is available. We also offer senior adult daycare where your loved one can spend the day with us and the evenings with you. Northridge Senior Living, your home.
The threat of wildfire poses a growing risk to Oregonians. You can prepare now by taking 3 important steps. Create a home inventory, make copies of important financial records, and contact your insurance company to make sure you have the right amounts and types of home insurance coverage. Be wildfire ready by being insurance ready. Visit dfr.oregon.gov/prepare now to learn how.
Get ready for fun at Rogue Ski Shop Think Snow Sale. Boulder Gear clothing now 20% off. Goggles, adults starting at $29, kids starting at $26. All Scott gloves 20% off. If you ski or ride, it's time to slide into Rogue Ski Shop Medford.
Okay, welcome back, and I'm always delighted when we have time to sit down with Dr. Tim Murphy. He's a licensed psychologist and the clinical director of the Fortis Future, which is a center focusing on the care of veterans, military, and first responders with PTSD. Dr. Murphy also was elected to the U.S. House of Representatives from Pennsylvania's 18th Congressional District 8 times. 2 times 8, that's 16 years. He's the author of a book that you hear me say this a lot, and I mean it. It's called The Christ Cure, 10 Biblical Ways to Heal from Trauma, Tragedy, and PTSD. If you do any kind of HR work, whether you're a pastor or a team leader or ministry leader or you're a boss, whatever, and you need a faith-based perspective, this is a must book in your library or on your desk called The Christ Cure. Dr. Murphy does have a website, drtimmurphy.com, and there's a picture of the landing page. Dr. Murphy, it's always an honor to see you, friend. How are you?
I'm doing great. Good to be with you again.
Thank you. Our subject today is takes on 6 people. They've been called the Seditious Six. These are the people that went on and did a video to encourage military colleagues to make a judgment and disobey orders. This whole thing is so amazing to me, and especially led by former veteran there, Senator Kelly. Gosh, it's just kind of put your brain on tilt. And I know that you reacted quite hard on this. What was it that caught your attention?
Well, what got my attention on this is, look, none of us want to have anybody do anything that's illegal in the area of dealing with some of these problems. obeying lawful orders. But what stands out here is how they did this. So let's look, for example, at the whole idea of what I refer to as dropping a verbal grenade in the ground, and what it does. So many of the people I deal with are folks who have post-traumatic stress disorder. They have flashbacks, and one of the big things they have with that is what we call a moral injury. Like, did I do something that was right? And that could be anything from, I've known people who when they had to shoot a child or a woman or a civilian, because that was their orders they were following, because that person had a weapon on them, or if they were a threat, or in Vietnam, many times the way the bombs were dropped or the battles that took place where the North Vietnamese used women and children as shields in a battle. These are struggles someone still deals with. And of course, going back, some may ask the question, well, in Afghan war, I did all these things and then we left from there. Why did I do that? What was the moral purpose for that? When these 6 members of Congress released this video, they just said, look, you shouldn't be following orders. Well, we don't know what's behind those orders at the time they're given. And certainly it's part of understanding in boot camp, you get the information, you are there, you're sworn to follow lawful orders. But the way they were saying that, whether it was related to the National Guard going into cities or the issue about hitting the boats carrying drugs off of Venezuela, these are decisions that enlisted men and women have to deal with. They don't know, and oftentimes we don't know what's behind the orders that are given. People don't have the intelligence information. And so what I'm concerned about is making this global statement and what that does in terms of the whole concept of moral injury. That's one of the big traumas that occur to people who have been in combat. And look back on what happened when people came back from Vietnam. They were called baby killers and spit on, or people who treated negatively our veterans coming back from Iraq and Afghanistan. So this kind of approach, I'm very concerned they didn't say anything about that, about following justifiable orders, and also didn't point out we don't know the intelligence that was behind this that an admiral or a general may have had in these situations. And if they become political disagreements, like whether or not someone should have National Guard in a city that has more people dying, like in Chicago, more people dying from murder in Chicago than died from all of our wars in Afghanistan and Iraq. Shouldn't we be doing something more? So I'm concerned about how these things were laid out and putting a lot of decision-making on the shoulders of enlisted people who really don't have the information and sometimes the maturity yet.
Okay, there's a lot here. From what I understand, and after reviewing the video a couple of times myself, it looked like that it was heavily lawyered, if I could put it that way. The words were carefully selected and picked, and now you see it being picked apart in some of the commentary. But at the end of the day, it seemed to be also, if I can use the term, intentional in what it was trying to convey. Now, whether they used the right words or not, the intent of this video was to suggest to a military person that you now are the arbiter of an order.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, you have destroyed the military chain of command.
Absolutely. It is a matter that in the chain of command, I was a psychologist. I was higher ranking as a senior officer in the Navy, but I didn't know information in so many different levels. And I was there, and I continue to be there to help veterans who have struggled with what has happened to them in war. The same with police officers. They don't always know what's behind it. But when they come out with this sort of thing, it does affect the chain of command. I came up with a list of some things that I think are lessons in bad leadership from this. And one is that these 6 members said they could disobey orders, but not one of them listed what that order was. So relative to what you're saying, when you give someone vague information like that, that stirs up a lot of problems. No military leader should ever offer vague orders on anything that involves taking a risk, especially a risk to life. And it's the responsibility of a good leader to make it very clear. Here's the order. Here's exactly what you have to do. What they said was pretty vague. You don't have to follow orders that are wrong. What orders are you talking about? So does that lay into the minds of our servicemen and women questions like, gee, these people are elected officials, senators and congressmen. Do they know something I don't know? Am I involved in something bad? And I think this also involves an insensitivity to the experience level of enlisted troops. As I said, boot camp and Young enlisted members are about 17 to 20, 21 years of age, right out of high school, maybe after a job or first. Many of them join the military because they want to change their life. They want to get out of the life they've had behind. Many have had problems in the past. They're still learning about the world. And a good leader has to understand that they have to give that teaching and guidance to them. So telling them information that contradicts what they're learning at boot camp is a big problem for them, because they say, what am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to handle this? Now, the military is going to come back and train them and say, look, you follow lawful orders. That's what you have to do. Your sergeant says jump, you say yes, how high? That's the way it has to be. But when these people come out and lead from behind, especially when they say, we got your back, which I found problematic, it's not something a leader would ever say if they say, we've got your back, but we're way back behind you. Keep in mind that although Senator Kelly from Arizona was a pilot, a Navy pilot, he was involved in a number of combat missions. Many of these other people making these statements were not in combat. Some might have been in theater, some were intelligence operators. They never had to make the decisions to pull the trigger. They never had to make a decision of whether there was a threat or not. They never had to make a decision of following an order to say there's a problem. So these are some of the many problems that are laid upon our troops. And I think the applicability, quite frankly, is to us in everyday life, Perry, that we have to sometimes make decisions about things, or we're asked to take action on things we may not fully understand. And so what I mentioned is a few, but there's many, many more issues when it comes to leadership problems with this.
I'm just curious, do you have any idea what would allow a sitting senator that has that rich military history as a veteran, as a pilot, to say such a thing? I mean, that seems to be so far out of the box of what he was trained to do.
Yeah, I think he would have been better off raising questions, because the senator has the authority, as does a member of the House of Representatives, to get on the phone and call the leaders of the National Guard and the Pentagon and say, I want to talk about this. Tell me what's going on. Now, the chain of command actually begins with the President of the United States, and also calling the White House and saying, we want details here. We want to see the videos. We want to know about this. We want to hear about things in the cities. But I think a lot of this was a reaction to National Guard in cities, and these are happening in very liberal Democrat cities that have a high crime rate. So when you look at areas like Seattle and Portland and Los Angeles, Washington, D.C., New York City, these areas that have a higher crime rate, and National Guard being sent in to help settle things down, it's interesting what the mayors and governors are saying in those states. They say, we don't have a problem. Now, that's a ridiculous statement in some areas, and we know that even the mayor of Washington, D.C. said, look, the crime rate is much better. I go frequently to Washington, D.C., and it's gone from places where I'm concerned about walking at night to where it seems much safer. So I think it's become more of a political issue, and that clouds it too, that they get caught up in the politics of being against President Trump as opposed to looking at some of the reality of what's needed here.
Did this video in a psychological, surrogate way suggest to the military they could pick and choose what they wanted to obey?
Yeah, that's exactly what comes out of it. I mean, certainly some could say I didn't consider that a lawful order, and I didn't want to obey it. But look at the history of this. During COVID, military members were ordered to get a series of shots of COVID vaccines.
Right.
When the research wasn't there to support it, that didn't matter. They said, you had to do this. This was never a lawful order. It was never an order from the President of the United States to say you must have this done. This came out of the Department of Defense. But what happened from that was thousands of members of our military were booted out of the military. Careers were ruined. Now, even though some were reinstated and they got their back pay, that doesn't matter, because for a few years they were they were in a situation where they had an honorable discharge, but under different conditions, and so that may have affected their employment. That affected their career in the military. In the meantime, maybe they aged out and couldn't come back. It affected their status and their position in the military. So it destroyed a lot of things in terms of military career, and psychologically hurt as well. So the military now understands, wait a minute, you told me that was an order I had to follow or I was going to be punished, and the punishment was pretty severe. And so now they're being told again, you don't have to follow orders. Well, this is a pretty confusing situation for them.
Is that the difference between an order and a policy?
Well, that's a good question. In this case, in the case of COVID, they were ordered, and I had talked to some base commanders, et cetera, and they said they were dealing with folks who said, for example, they had a religious reason that they didn't want to have the vaccine. Most of those, the vast majority, were said, no, you don't have to take the vaccine. It was very, very rare otherwise. And so that a policy turned into an order in that sense.
Okay. All right, let me take a quick break here. Again, let me say to our viewers and listeners, get Dr. Murphy's book called The Christ-Centered Cure, 10 Biblical Ways to Heal from Trauma, Tragedy, and PTSD. What a resource. And check out his website, drtimmurphy.com. There's a picture of the landing page. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back.
I just prayed. I said, God, I have to be done. That feeling of hope, it was coming back right then. It started right then. And I have no idea how not to crave these drugs. I don't know how to stop, but I feel like this is my last chance. Please help me. If you show up, I'm surrendering.
Tuesday on the 700 Club, right here on the Dove TV.
I'm Susanna, and I contracted KA Designs to do custom cabinets throughout my house. We chose a really beautiful maple wood that really creates like a nice airy space. Everything was custom, and it was really cool because I got to literally see it come to life in person. We love to entertain, and we have a large family, so everything came together perfectly, exactly what I wanted. I highly suggest KA Designs if you're looking to design your dream house. Go check them out in their showroom. You will not be disappointed.
Don't let pain hold you back. I'm Dr. Joel Brind, and I developed Sweetamine to stop inflammation the all-natural way. Just use it like a sweetener once a day. It's that simple. My unique formula harnesses the power of glycine and works around the clock to boost your overall health, stopping chronic inflammation that causes pain. Try my 12-day challenge risk-free for just $19.95 with free shipping at sweetamine.com or call 1-855-GET-SWEET today. Relief has never been so sweet.
All right, welcome back, and always an honor to have with us Dr. Tim Murphy. Check out his book called The Christ Cure, the 10 Biblical Ways to Heal from Trauma, Tragedy, and PTSD. There's a picture of the cover of the book. He has a website, drtimmurphy.com. Dr. Murphy, I do want to come to moral injuries, but I also want to, pardon me, I'm going to ask you an off-the-wall question, but on the other hand, it seems to be gaining momentum. And that is TDS, the Trump Derangement Syndrome. I'm hearing some members of some of your colleagues say that this is real. Maybe you can describe it, and not necessarily the president, but what is it about that we would have hatred for such a person that we can't see past it?
Yeah, I think it is real in the sense that you have many people who are so emotional in their reactions to President Trump, that anything he does, that they cannot see past it. Think of it this way, much like if someone has someone in their neighborhood, an ex-friend, a hated person, an ex-spouse where there was a bitter divorce, and cannot see anything good that comes out of that person, no matter what it is.
Okay.
So on some of the things that are out there, like maybe some job reports are good, or stopping several wars, you still have people who will criticize that. Now the problem with that is the person who has these extreme visceral reactions, then it's hard to take any of their true criticisms with any credibility. So a lot of this you see, for example, in the media. So on some television shows, I won't mention, but other places, might be podcasts, et cetera. You'll have some people who may be a cable newscaster or in some other talk show where it's impossible for them to say anything good about the President Trump's administration. Now, maybe that's in part because they're trying to cater to their listeners and their viewers, and so it is that way. But it is a problem, however, because I think they lose credibility in the long run because it becomes a thing no matter what is said. And so there's anger, there's depression that comes out of that, there's incredible resentment. And when you have the kind of thoughts to go with that, that everything he does is wrong, everything is bad of America, and then they begin to criticize the America itself and all of our policies and everything else, that goes into behaviors. And here's one of the real concerns I have for behavior. You know, it used to be that I'm old enough to remember back in the Vietnam War when they talked about love and peace, not war. And over the years, trying to stop gun use and saying guns were bad, we should be able to talk our problems out. And now what you see is an increase of not only condoned, but encouraged violence. When you look at the assassination of Charlie Kirk, the assassination attempt against President Trump, the reactions among many liberals was not only condoning, but supporting it. And even if they lost their job because they were a college professor, really a lot of support for that. The violence on campuses promoting Hamas, which is clearly a terrorist, violent organization. College presidents encouraging that. Elected officials encouraging that. And that's all a spillover of this. So it's gone into this, not just a thought, not just a feeling, but a behavior of violence where mayors and governors can't even say no to such things as drugs and violence and murders in their communities. So this is where it has gotten over to the point where it's no longer just someone's opinion. Now it affects the public in ways that are of great concern.
Okay. I want to come back to moral injury just for a moment. You've mentioned the term. It's a fascinating one, and now I'm processing it in my brain. It makes total sense. Somebody that's been, say, physically injured in the military, it's possible they'd watch this video from these 6 people saying, maybe I should have disobeyed that order. Boy, well, what are we doing here, Coach?
Exactly. So the pilots, those who are controlling the drones or planes in those strikes, the other people on the ships are wondering, should I have done something different? Was I following the orders correctly? Look, even seeing that, and I work with those who were drone pilots, so they were sitting hundreds or sometimes thousands of miles away and controlling an attack. They can look and see the grim outcome of what they've done. In high-resolution video, you can see what happens when people are killed. You see that. That alone can be traumatic for someone. I mean, it should be a disturbing thing. It shouldn't be something one approaches in a calm way because someone has a heart. But at the same time, when you hear from these elected officials saying what you did was wrong and morally wrong, a violation of international law, the support should be, look, I understand you were following orders. You did what you were told to do. The issue should not be going after the enlisted or the officers. The issue should be arguing this out in ways with the president and those in charge, but you don't go after those who were following orders, because that's when you're adding to the moral injury of that. And you can't have chaos in the military.
Wow. Back to Senator Kelly just for a moment, and leaning a little bit on your military background. What should happen to him? I mean, he shouldn't get away with this, should he?
Well, I know that the plan is that one of the things that can happen because he's retired from the military, he could be brought back into the military and court-martialed, and that's some of the discussion. Now, that level of information behind that, as we say, is way beyond my pay grade. Someone will review that. Certainly questions of whether someone has seditious behavior probably doesn't follow that legal guideline. I think that what stands out here at the very least is saying, how does this harm morale among the troops? It's also a thing, too, one of the things that happens in the military, you don't gripe about your leaders. Now, whether I was in the hospital work or being on shipboard or something like that, sometimes you rounded a corner and you heard someone complaining about something. You know what? It's going to happen. You get thousands of people together, they're going to complain about something. And you just say, hey, knock it off. You don't do that sort of thing. And if someone does it in a way that's problematic, then they can, in the Navy, what's called a captain's mast, you get disciplined for that. Those kind of things, I think, can be harmful to the morale and spirit and following orders in the military. And for that, hopefully there's some conversations taking place between the Navy and Kelly. he should actually welcome it and want to talk to them about that and seek some guidance. But once one is out of the military, you still have certain standards you have to adhere to if you're a veteran and you're still can be called up on the reserves or something along those lines, which I understand. I'm not totally clear about this, but you are still, even when you're out of the military in a retirement status, as long as you can still be called up again, you have to watch what you say and do in all cases.
On the other hand, the question is, what was his motive here? What was he trying to do? I mean, why did he do such a drastic thing to cut a video and suggest this? I mean, it seems to be pretty off the wall.
Well, yeah, there was 5 other ones too that did that, and probably they were talking amongst themselves how they wanted to fight back and comment about Trump in this. I know a congressman from the Pittsburgh area who was part of that. He was an engineer. He was went to the Naval Academy. He was an engineer, I believe, in the Navy. After that, he was one of those too. His comments in his campaign referred in real derogatory ways in his campaign commercials about business leaders. There's a term in Pittsburgh called jagoffs. So they're all jerks, they're jagoffs. And I think that's no way to behave or talk about the businesses you want to bring jobs up to an area. That's his style, okay? In campaigns, someone has a style. And maybe that's maintaining his style here. But this looked to me more like a campaign ad.
Yeah.
And not something that was generally looking only at the impact upon the military. Because I think they saw it as this was an avenue that they could perhaps harm President Trump, Republicans, policy, et cetera. It wasn't arguing in committee. It wasn't arguing publicly. It wasn't arguing in debates on the floor with regard to what was happening with the National Guard and the Venezuelan drug boats. That's where those things should be done in a way that I think really has a more effective mechanism than this, which may be more campaign related.
Does this meet the term of sedition?
You know, I don't think so. When you look at the terms and what it does, is really calling for other behaviors that are really trying to overthrow the U.S. I think at the very least you get into some things that affect the morale of the military, and those themselves should be something that's concerned, especially when you look at what is the psychological cost of all this to troops when they see leaders who may act in an unfair way. Noting that the enlisted who follow their lead may face some discipline, may themselves have now seeing a culture of disrespect for law and order within the military, a disrespect for orders. And along those lines, I think within the military, there certainly is some things that they could be called into question among military leaders and saying this is not good. I mean, the military has some pretty clear lines. You just don't do things that are going to affect morale in the military. And you get chewed out pretty readily for that. And a corrective action is necessary. So we'll see what happens in the long run. But so far, we don't know what's taking place. There's a lot of information here that's not public, whether it's the videos or other communications. We don't know what communications are taking place between the senators and the representatives with the Pentagon and with the White House. Hopefully there's communication taking place in this. And I would hope one of the better outcomes is someone can make some statements that really says, look, you're still there to follow orders. It's not up to you to question these kind of things. It's up to us as elected officials to work on these things as part of the way of solving this. But I don't know if that's going to happen.
I don't either, because in watching the video, basically what I got out of it was telling the military person that you now can make a decision as to whether or not this order is legal or illegal, and as to whether or not you will or will not obey it. I mean, it opens that door for consideration. And at that point, it seemed to me it would be very seditious.
Exactly, and it hurts the aspects of being efficient and effective in a military situation when you have people who would question orders and pull back on them and how that does. So there's a lot of information still here. And I think at the very least we can learn the lessons of, ask questions about what harm does this do to sitting military who have to obey orders, and what harm does this do to veterans who themselves were in situations where they're still dealing with moral injuries when you have leaders like this saying what you're doing is immoral.
Well, I want to say thank you for bringing up the term moral injury. Boy, that's just going through my brain right now. I think I have a greater understanding what you're trying to communicate with us there, so thanks for bringing that up. Let me say to our viewers and listeners again, this is another reason for you to get a copy of his book called The Christ Cure. 10 biblical ways to heal from trauma, tragedy, and PTSD. A lot of these things that we talked about, and especially moral injuries, can be dealt with, and some good aid inside this, the cover of this book. Check out his website, drtimmurphy.com. Dr. Murphy, you're fascinating. Thank you, friend, for being there.
Sure.
Great insight.
Can I mention one thing? Light University, L-I-G-H-T University, associated with the American Association of Christian Counseling. We just released a course on training to be a mental health coach for working with the military and first responders and veterans. I'm the division director of that within the AHCC. I hope people will take a look at that. I think it's still offered on scholarship level for mental health coaches for military and first responders. That we talk about moral injury in there too. Right. So thanks so much.
Let's jump into that the next time we get together. Thank you, my friend. God bless you.
Okay. God bless.
"2025 has been a remarkable year of growth for the Dove, and there's still work ahead. We have more exciting plans to bring the gospel to even more people. And once again, you, our faithful viewers and listeners, can help make this happen. Our goal is to raise $223,000. With this, we can renew